Once every 100 years, the Reaper selects a newly departed soul to become its next vessel. On the night of the Nine-Tails sealing, it was once again time for the deity of death to pass on its essence. With a barrier in place during the sealing, Kushina Uzumaki became the sole candidate when the fourth Hokage invoked the Forbidden Reaper seal. As the Death Goddess's new incarnation, Kushina glimpsed into her son's future and granted him a unique bloodline, an affinity for shadows, to shield him from a village that would come to loathe him. At the edge of the Hidden Leaf Village, Reaper Seal, Devourer of Souls, Minato whispered a final goodbye to his newborn before completing the jutsu that would imprison the Nine-Tails within the child. Once the sealing was done, Minato's soul was pulled into the stomach of the spectral god. What he hadn't foreseen was Kushina being dragged in as well. Only the three of them, Minato, Kushina, and Naruto, stood within the confines of the protective barrier. Those outside could see nothing. Sarutobi Hiruzen, the former Hokage, understood that his successor had performed a forbidden sealing to put an end to the beast's destruction. But as for Kushina, her fate remained a mystery to all outside the seal. Medical personnel assumed she had perished due to the trauma of losing the Nine-Tails so soon after childbirth. Inside Naruto's subconscious, his cries echoed through the darkened corridors of his mind. A tall woman with flowing crimson hair and 9 flame-like tails appeared, drawn to his distress. Her warm arms wrapped around the infant, calming him instantly. Kurama, the Nine-Tails, tensed. A foreign presence was approaching, one powerful and ancient even by its standards. Kurama, it spoke, voice both familiar and chilling. The nine-tailed woman blinked before her eyes widened. Reaper, the entity stepped forward, revealing a form identical to her previous host. Kushina, Kurama murmured, voice full of guilt. I never meant, the Reaper, now a goddess, raised her hand gently. Peace. I know you were manipulated. Tonight's events were triggered by a man who should have passed on long ago. I will see to it that his soul is dealt with in my realm. Those who tamper with forces like yours never go unpunished. And for involving my child, he will suffer especially. Kurama nodded solemnly and passed the baby back into Kushina's arms. Naruto instinctively wriggled closer to the familiar warmth, drifting into a peaceful slumber. Tears fell down Kushina's cheeks as she held her son close. With her new powers, she foresaw a difficult life ahead for him, one far harsher than hers had ever been. After a long moment of contemplation, she placed a soft kiss on his forehead and whispered an ancient incantation. A faint gray aura shimmered around Naruto, then slowly faded away. She turned back to Kurama. I've gifted him a unique eye technique and dominion over shadows. These powers will awaken when he turns 6. I've also modified the seal so you can move freely within his mind, and in times of danger, even protect him directly. I saw what awaits him, and it's vile, guard him well. Kurama bowed her head. You have my word. As Kushina's presence faded, Kurama rocked the sleeping boy gently. Rest easy, Naruto. Until you can meet her again, I will be the mother you need. Back in the village, the barrier finally collapsed, and Sarutobi advanced with his ANBU escort. What they found was grim. Minato and Kushina lay still, their lifeless bodies curled protectively around their child, Naruto, who slept between them. The old Hokage mourned their loss, lifting the infant gently. The boy's spiky blonde hair was a mirror of his father's. His eyes remained closed, but the whisker-like birthmarks on his cheeks stood out. A fading seal glowed faintly on his abdomen. Facing the gathered ANBU, Hiruzen issued his orders. The identity of the masked man is to remain classified until we uncover more. If news spreads, the village could fracture. Understood. Yes, Hokage-sama, the ANBU chorused. He nodded. Begin search and recovery efforts immediately. Retrieve the dead, extinguish the fires. I will convene with the council shortly. Later that night, Konoha's clan heads, elders, and civilian council gathered. All eyes were on the bundle in Hiruzen's arms. You all know of the devastation we've suffered, he began. The fourth Hokage and his wife have fallen. This child, Naruto, was their son. He now contains the nine-tailed beast, sealed by the Reaper's technique. The fourth wanted him to be seen as a hero. A civilian stood up, enraged. That thing should be killed, uproar erupted. Some roared in agreement, others shouted for silence. The infant, feeling the sudden surge of hatred, began to wail. Kurama intervened, pulling Naruto's consciousness into his mind to protect him. Hiruzen's guards flared into motion when 2 counselors lunged toward the child, only to be swiftly cut down by ANBU. The Hokage's voice turned cold. Compose yourselves. This is a council meeting, not a mob. You shame your positions. Inside Naruto's mind, Kurama seethed. Foolish old man, why reveal the truth? Kushina's status as a Jinchuriki was kept hidden, why not Naruto's? You've doomed him to their hatred. Kurama had existed for centuries and had long known that while humans were capable of greatness, they were also ruled by ignorance and fear. Another counselor dared speak. He's a threat. If we let him live— Enough, Hiruzen snapped. He's a child, no different from any other. Let me explain this simply. He held up a sealing scroll. With a hand seal, it released a kunai. This scroll held a weapon. It isn't the weapon, it simply contains it. Naruto is no different. He is not the beast, he is its container. Though some nodded in understanding, most remained unconvinced. Naruto would not be seen as a savior, only a scapegoat. Frowning, the Hokage gave his final order. From this day forward, any mention of the Nine Tails, this seal, or Naruto's status is forbidden. Tell no one, not your children, not your friends. Anyone who breaks this law will be punished severely. As the village grieved and began to rebuild, Konoha tallied its losses. Over 30,000 dead, 10,000 of them shinobi. Retired warriors were being recalled to replenish the ranks. Missions were cancelled. Security was tightened. Within the Hokage's office, Hiruzen signed report after report as baby Naruto lay sleeping nearby. In just a month, 36 assassination attempts had already been made. At present, Hiruzen was facing difficulty in finding someone to care for the infant. Naruto, still a baby, required proper nourishment, but no wet nurse was willing to step forward. Most were either terrified of him or outright wished him dead. One woman had volunteered. She had given birth the same night as Naruto, but her newborn had tragically died from exposure to the Kyuubi's oppressive chakra and malevolent aura. She took Naruto in as her own, showering him with love. However, unknown to anyone at the time, she had complications from childbirth and passed away 3 weeks later. The milk she had stored would sustain Naruto for about 2 weeks more. After that, he would be left without sustenance. Hiruzen had once planned to reveal Naruto's parentage to the village, hoping it might offer protection. But with the overwhelming hatred people held for the boy, believing him to be the fox itself, any such revelation would only place him in greater peril. Declaring Naruto as the Hokage's son would likely turn Iwagakure into a deadly threat, while Kumigakure might attempt to abduct him. With these risks in mind, the third Hokage ultimately chose to keep Naruto's lineage secret. Within the child's mindscape, the sealed fox spirit, Kurama, paced restlessly. With modifications made to her seal, she could reshape her mental prison, styling it to resemble the Namikaze estate. After the first attempt on Naruto's life, Kurama began training to manifest physically outside the seal to protect him. She overheard Hiruzen's decision to place Naruto in the orphanage after 2 months, a plan that deeply unsettled her. Kurama could already foresee the cold treatment, the neglect, and the poor nourishment awaiting him there. It was then that the Shinigami returned, informing her that aid would be sent. Kushina would arrange for a soul from the afterlife to return, someone who would act as one of the orphanage caretakers, secretly guarding Naruto until he reached 6 years of age and could learn the truth about himself and his family. A small, whiskered boy with messy blonde hair and bright blue eyes strolled through Konoha's market district. The townspeople didn't hide their scorn. Many hurled insults, calling him a monster or a killer. Naruto didn't fully understand why, but something deep inside him told him to ignore their hatred. He only had a handful of people he considered family. The first was the old man, the village leader. Then there were the kind-hearted owners of a ramen stall, father and daughter, who served him with warmth and respect. The fourth was a gentle woman named Mai, one of the orphanage workers who had looked after him since he was an infant. Unknown to Naruto, Mai had been sent by his biological mother. His final and most treasured figure was Kurama, whom he called his mother. She had taught him to read, write, and comforted him during his hardest moments. In their shared mental realm, she had created a peaceful home where he could rest. She also made him promise not to speak of her to the Hokage. Kurama constantly warned Naruto to stay within the orphanage walls unless accompanied by Mai. Yet the child's curiosity often got the better of him. Today, he had snuck out alone. He had seen a fox mask in a store window that fascinated him. He desperately wanted it. He stepped into the shop, a bell chiming his entrance. "Welcome, how can I help?" The shopkeeper froze upon seeing him. Naruto smiled innocently as he walked inside. Before he could speak, the woman screamed. "Get out, please," he pleaded. "I just want to buy something." "I said get out." Tears welled in Naruto's eyes, but he didn't move. "I just want that fox mask," he whispered, pointing at it. The clerk sneered, grabbed the mask, and hurled it at him. It struck his face, knocking him down. He quickly scrambled to his feet and reached for his coin pouch. I don't want your money. I don't want anything from a filthy demon like you. Get out, and if I ever see you here again, I'll kill you. Eyes wide with fear, Naruto snatched up his coins and the mask, then sprinted away from the shop, tears trailing behind him. Inside the seal, Kurama watched sorrowfully. She understood that Naruto was merely a child longing to explore, but the hatred he faced was relentless. The villagers treated him like a curse, despite his innocent efforts to be accepted. Worse still, there were ongoing attempts on his life. Though less frequent, they still posed a grave threat. That's it. 3 years is more than enough time to mourn. They treat my son like a plague while worshipping me as a hero. A furious voice growled as Minato appeared. Humans are short-sighted, Kurama answered calmly. I still can't forgive Hiruzen for announcing Naruto's status as a Jinchuriki instead of revealing who his parents were. Even if he meant well, the damage was done. I understand. I'm frustrated too. Aside from the Icaracus, this village is full of hypocrites. I pray I can keep calm, Minato muttered darkly. I just hope Naruto comes to realize Konoha will never truly accept him. He needs to see it before he suffers something worse. He will, Kurama replied. Let him hold on to his childhood for now. Anyway, he's back at the orphanage. You should go. Minato gave a solemn nod and vanished. The same day Mai was assigned to care for Naruto, the Shinigami had released Minato from her belly. Because the seal had been altered, Minato's essence was loosely bound to Naruto, allowing him to move between the afterlife and the mindscape. Still, he was forbidden from revealing himself to Naruto until the boy turned 6. Moments later, Naruto appeared at the gates of the mindscape mansion. Mom, I'm home, he called out cheerfully. Kurama materialized and scooped him up in a hug. After checking him for injuries, despite knowing they had already healed, she gave him a scolding look. I told you not to go out without Mai, look what happened. I'm okay, and look, I got the mask. Kurama sighed and patted his head. All right, time to study. But can we read one with pictures? Too many words make me dizzy. All right, put your mask away and meet me in the library. 1 year later, since the fox mask incident, Naruto never left the orphanage without Mai. Hiruzen, having seen what happened through his crystal ball, added another ANBU squad to guard him discreetly. Now, 3 squads monitored Naruto at a distance. At 4 years old, Naruto showed remarkable intelligence. He had figured out that Kurama wasn't his biological mother. They never discussed it, but the bond between them hadn't changed. Naruto still called her mom, and Kurama still loved him as if he were her own. From the age of 3, Kurama had been educating him thoroughly. He could now read and write fluently. He was learning English as a second language, with Japanese being his first. He also had a solid grasp of ancient lore, gods, demigods, humans, and shinobi. Kurama emphasized memorizing information about divine beings, though Naruto didn't yet understand why. After his 4th birthday, she began teaching him about shinobi, their duties, values, and roles in the world. He was currently at the orphanage's wide outdoor training area, practicing his aim by hurling kunai and shuriken at 3 makeshift targets that Mai had set up for him. Focused entirely on his training, he failed to notice 4 figures observing him from a distance. Just as his final kunai struck the center of one target, he heard the sound of clapping. Naruto spun around, surprised to see Mai applauding with a wide grin. Beside her stood the Hokage, accompanied by 2 unfamiliar individuals. My knee, Gramps, Naruto called out cheerfully as he dashed toward them. His enthusiasm waned slightly as he eyed the strangers, murmuring a shy greeting. Hello, Naruto-kun, how have you been? The Hokage asked kindly. I'm great, Jiji, did you see that? I hit every single one. I did. Well done, Naruto-kun, Hiruzen praised, patting him gently on the head. By the way, I brought some friends who would like to meet you. This is Nagi and Emi Lawford. They're close friends of mine, and they've expressed a desire to adopt you. What do you think? Naruto's eyes lit up with astonishment and joy. Really, you mean it? You want to adopt me? He asked with trembling excitement. Being chosen meant everything to him. While others at the orphanage were taken in by families, he had always been left behind. Yes, Naruto-kun, Emi said with a warm smile. We want you to be a part of our family. Naruto squealed with delight, bouncing on the balls of his feet. Come on, Naru-chan. Let's go pack your things, Mai said gently, taking his hand and guiding him back toward the building. But, Mai-ni, what about you? What do you mean, sweetheart? I won't see you anymore, he whispered, lowering his head sadly. She stopped and knelt before him, placing a hand on his cheek. Naru-chan, even when you leave, I'll still come visit. Once a week, okay, Naruto nodded, a small smile forming as they entered his room. 1 year and 11 months later. A week before Naruto's 6th birthday, word had spread through the village days, after Naruto took the Lawford surname, that the so-called demon child had been adopted. The villagers knew Nagi and Emi Lawford had lost both their sons, Season Jonin, during the Ninetales rampage. Many assumed they had taken Naruto in just to eventually take revenge on the beast believed to dwell within him. Even the Hokage had harbored doubts at first, ordering ANBU surveillance to ensure Naruto's safety. But nearly 2 years had passed, and Naruto was not only alive, he was thriving. Lawford Naruto was currently in the backyard of the Lawford residence, focusing on chakra control exercises. Since his adoptive parents were veteran ninja from the Third Great War, they had started to train him early. Though only 5, Naruto had already reached academy level and was nearing genin skill. After maintaining 4 spinning leaves on his forehead for an hour, he slumped down to rest. "Dinner's ready, Naruto-kun," Emi called from the kitchen. "Come on in." Naruto jumped up and ran inside, settling at the dinner table. "What's for dinner, Kasan?" Emi gave him an almost too sweet smile, making Kurama stir with unease inside him. "Tonight we're having demon stew." "Naru-chan, get out of there, now," Kurama warned. Naruto barely turned his head before Nagi appeared behind him and slapped a ceiling tag onto his back. What's happening?" Naruto cried. "Don't play dumb, you little monster," Emi hissed, drawing a kitchen knife. "But I didn't hurt anyone. You're a killer, a creature in human skin. And don't even try to run." "I've locked your chakra," Nagi growled, drawing a katana. "Tonight we erase you once and for all." Within Naruto's subconscious, Kurama screamed for him. She could still hear and see everything, her spirit trembling at his growing fear. But Naruto remained unresponsive, paralyzed by horror. "For years we waited. When we adopted you we couldn't act yet, not with the Hokage watching. But now no one suspects a thing," Emi said coldly. "But you said you loved me," Naruto whimpered. "Love," Nagi scoffed. "We only ever loved our real sons, the ones you stole from us." We were pretending, it was all a lie." "Now die, beast," Naruto shrieked as Naga's blade plunged into his abdomen. "Stop, please." Emi reveled in his pain as she stabbed him in the shoulder. "No, please." Nagi withdrew his sword and rammed it into Naruto's side again, piercing a lung. "Somebody help." "No one's coming," Nagi snarled. "We know your ANBU's schedule. We've got 3 minutes. By the time they arrive you'll be dead and will be hailed as heroes." Naruto's mind couldn't process their words anymore, just pain, endless pain. He curled up as best he could to shield himself. "Ah!" He screamed one last time before everything went black. Nagi prepared for the final strike, but suddenly, both he and Emi were violently flung into a wall. An ANBU in a weasel-patterned mask appeared instantly. Both attackers screamed in terror before collapsing, unconscious. A dog-masked ANBU rushed to Naruto's side, gently scooping up his limp, bloody body and vanishing toward the hospital. Naruto's inner world Kurama was already working on healing Naruto as he was transported. When his consciousness appeared before her, she wrapped him in a protective embrace. I'm so sorry," she whispered through tears, holding him as he sobbed into her chest. Far away, Kushina and Minato watched, silent and sorrowful. Kushina turned away, unable to bear it. Minato remained, watching over his son as Kurama carried Naruto to rest. "Yomi no Kuni, land of the dead Kagetsuchi," the Shinigami intoned. "Yes, my lady. Retrieve the souls of Nagi and Emi Lawford." Immediately. Back in the human world, Lawford residents Weasel and another masked ANBU were securing the unconscious criminals for interrogation. Neither noticed the shadow portal opening in the room. A young woman stepped through and tapped the 2 ANBU on the shoulder. Both spun around, weapons drawn. But it was too late. Before they could move, she had already stabbed Nagi through the heart. By the time they blinked, Emi was dead too. The blade vanished into the shadows, along with the souls it had claimed. Surrounded by 11 ANBU now, the intruder showed no concern. She raised her arms, opened a swirling portal and stepped through. Attempts to stop her failed, they passed right through her. She vanished without a trace. "Konoha Hospital, how is he?" the Hokage asked. "He's stable. Internal organs repaired. The fox is helping with his healing," a doctor replied. "We're moving him to a private room. He needs peace and quiet." The Hokage exhaled, relieved. He ordered 3 full ANBU squads to guard the boy, 2 outside the room and 1 concealed within. "Konoha Interrogation Center, Inoichi, report." "I've reviewed their memories, Hokage-sama. At 7:00 p.m., Emi Lawford called Naruto for dinner." The Yamanaka head relayed every detail of the betrayal, exactly as it was said. "I see. Thank you, Inoichi. Weasel, your turn." My unit had just swapped shifts when Naruto's chakra spiked then faded. We rushed in and found him unconscious, with the Lawfords still attacking. Inuyeichu engaged and launched them into the wall. I cast a genjutsu to immobilize them while Teichu evacuated Naruto. As Kat and I secured the scene, however, did you recognize the woman? Can you describe her? Yes, sir. It was none other than Naruto's personal guardian, Mai. The Hawkage's expression hardened at the mention of her name. He exhaled slowly, a cloud of smoke drifting from his pipe. Search every corner of the village. We already have Lord Hawkage. There's no sign of her. We even contacted the barrier division. They confirmed no one has crossed the village's perimeter during the time in question. Naruto's inner world, why? The boy whispered, staring into the mirror in his room. Why me? He asked again, softer this time. He looked up to see Kurama entering, gently settling down on the bed and motioning him to join her. Naru-chan, come sit, she said. It's time you learned the truth, why the people of this village wish to see you gone. Naruto sat beside her, sorrow weighing heavy in his eyes. Kurama began recounting the night of his birth. She concealed the identities of his parents for now, promising he'd learn everything on his 6th birthday. She explained what a Jinchuriki is, what tailed beasts are, and revealed that his mother had been her former host. Once she finished, Naruto said nothing. Then, without a word, he wrapped his arms around her in a hug. It wasn't your fault, right, Ka-chan? It was the masked man. If not for him, I would still have my mom and dad. Kurama nodded gently. You're right, I was also a victim that night. But the people here, they won't see it that way. To them, you're not just my container, you are me. Come, let's head outside. I'm going to sharpen your senses even further. From now on, you'll be able to sense emotions, especially hatred and hostility. You'll always know who means you harm. Konoha Medical Ward. Naruto lay unconscious for 2 days, finally waking on the 3rd. As his eyes fluttered open, he was met with the sound of machines beeping steadily. The sterile white walls surrounded him. He sat up suddenly, ripping the IV from his arm and discarding the oxygen mask on his face. Panic gripped his chest as he sensed 4 presences in the room, though he couldn't see them. His gaze darted between the windows and the door. Gathering chakra to his legs, he rushed to the door, only to find it locked. Hearing movement from the hallway, he scrambled toward the window. Just then the door clicked open. It was the 3rd Hawkage. Naruto-kun, Hiruzen called gently. Naruto recoiled in fear, not recognizing him. He backed into a corner, curling into a ball and screaming. Naruto, the Hawkage called, stepping forward. It's me, you're safe now, no one will hurt you. HHH, please calm down. The boy's shrieking continued, loud, raw, and full of fear. In a moment of desperation, Hiruzen slapped him. The blow brought Naruto out of his panic, but at a terrible cost. Naruto stared up, heartbroken. His Jiji, one of the only people he trusted, had just hit him. He hit me, he's like the others, just like them. He gave me to them to die, and now he's hurt me too. Was it all fake? Does he want me dead too? Hawkage's office. Jiji, why does everyone hate me? What did I ever do? Naruto asked, though he already knew the answer. Kurama had told him. He only wanted confirmation, honesty from the old man. If the Hawkage told the truth, Naruto would still believe in him. If not, then he'd know Hiruzen was just like the rest. I'm sorry, Naruto-kun, I don't know. Do you know who my parents were? Can you tell me? It wasn't the first time he asked. He already knew what the answer would be, but he hoped this time might be different. I've told you before, I don't know who they were, Hiruzen replied, his voice tinged with guilt. Naruto saw it in his eyes, and that was enough. You're the Hawkage, you should know. Silence. Naruto lowered his head, then stood up. I'm sorry for bothering you, I'll be going now. Before Hiruzen could stop him, the boy had already slipped out. He ran aimlessly, not knowing where to go, only that he needed to get away. Away from the Hawkage Tower. Away from Hiruzen, not his Jiji, not anymore. Marketplace. Naruto's footsteps eventually led him into the busy market area. Too late, he realized he'd wandered into the heart of the village. Look. The demon, fear surged. Naruto bolted. It's trying to escape, kill it. Monster, a crowd gave chase. Thanks to his shinobi training, Naruto managed to evade most of them. But some continued, Genin, Chunin, even Jonin. Naru-chan. In here, a voice called from a shadowed alley. His enhanced senses picked up the familiar voice. Without hesitation, he turned toward it. A hand grabbed him, and suddenly they vanished into a swirling vortex of black. Hidden safe house, Namikaze estate. To Naruto's surprise, there was no pain, only warmth. A familiar voice wrapped around him like a blanket. You all right? His rescuer asked. Why yeah, Naruto blinked. Ni-chan, you saved me. Mai smiled, embracing him tightly. Sorry I didn't get to you sooner. It's okay. They didn't touch me this time. No, I meant those two, the ones who adopted you. I trusted them. I thought they'd care for you. I failed you, Naru-chan. I should have never let them take you. Wait, you were assigned by my mom, Mai nodded. I was placed to protect you by your real mother. But I thought she was gone. She is. I met her only after her death. Ooh, okay, Naruto responded, thoroughly confused. Mai chuckled softly and ruffled his hair. You'll understand on your birthday, I promise. Okay, I believe you, and hey, don't beat yourself up about those two. They're dead now anyway. You know, yeah, I heard people talking. They died the night they tried to kill me. I don't know who did it, but if it was a girl, I'd thank her and maybe even give her a kiss. Mai smirked, gently pinching his cheek. Then where's my kiss? Wait, you did it, she nodded. Naruto blinked. Whoa, then he grinned, hugging her and kissing her on the cheek. Thanks, Ni-chan. You're welcome, Naru-chan. Time skip, night before Naruto's birthday for 2 days, Naruto stayed hidden within the mansion, protected by layers of powerful sealing techniques. Mai would leave under a disguise to gather supplies. While Naruto enjoyed some peace and quiet, Mai monitored the outside world and prepared for what was to come. On the evening of October 9th, Naruto sat in the mansion's lounge, dressed in a fine light blue kimono prepared by Mai. It was 10 minutes until midnight, 10 minutes until he turned 6. Then, Kurama's voice echoed in his head. Naru-chan, please make a shadow clone. Naru-chan, it's time you met your true parents. Suddenly, a swirling vortex of shadow emerged, releasing mist that was both light and dark. It blanketed the living room like fog, chilling the air. From within it, a cloaked figure with a scythe gradually materialized. Naruto stared wide-eyed. A death spirit. Is this really how I'm meeting my parents? Do I have to die first? He wondered. But before he could panic, the figure shimmered and shifted, transforming into a graceful woman with crimson hair flowing behind her, dressed in a scarlet kimono. She extended her hand, manifesting a glowing yellow orb. As it pulsed with energy, it formed into a tall man with blonde hair clad in a deep blue robe. Naruto instantly recognized him. Hi Naru-chan, the woman said, smiling warmly. Are you the death deity? Naruto asked, still confused, drawing light chuckles from both figures. You've grown well, son. Happy birthday, they said together before pulling him into a heartfelt embrace. Son. Yes, Naru-chan, we're your parents, the woman answered, clearly knowing his thoughts before he even spoke. I'm the child of the fourth Hokage and the Shinigami. That makes me a demigod, Naruto muttered in disbelief. We know it's a lot, Naruto, the man said with a smirk. Let's sit, we'll explain everything. Why yeah. Okay, Ka-chan, Naruto replied hesitantly. The woman's smile widened at being called mother. For the next couple of hours, they told Naruto about their lives, names, identities, how they met, fell in love, and eventually brought him into the world. Kushina also revealed her secret past, as the Ninetales' former host. When the conversation reached the night of Naruto's birth, they explained how she had become the death deity, and how Minato's soul had been freed from within her after death. Through a memory projection, Naruto watched everything up until Sarutobi took him from their lifeless arms. His fists trembled, his voice cracked with anger. He knew who my parents were. He knew everything about the fox. I asked him so many times and he lied. We're sorry, Naruto, Minato said. But know this, we love you. I made the wrong choice placing the village above my family. And now, the same village I gave my life for has betrayed my son. Whatever you decide, Naru-chan, if you choose to burn this village down, we'll stand by your side, Kushina added with a devilish grin. Naruto blinked in surprise. He'd expected them to plead for peace or forgiveness. Instead, they offered him vengeance, and he smiled darkly in response. One more thing, Kushina said, gesturing toward a girl seated beside Kurama. It's time you met your spirit guardian. The girl, Mai, nodded. Her form began to glow, shifting until a massive black claymore lay on the floor. Kurama stepped forward and handed the blade to Naruto. This is Kagetsuchi, Kushina said. You knew her as Mai. I sent her to watch over you ever since that foolish old man placed you in the orphanage. She is more than she appears. She is the embodiment of death's origin. Naruto held the blade with reverence. It gleamed like obsidian, but far sturdier than any mortal weapon. Crimson runes lined the hilt and crossguard, while the blade itself emitted a faint dark light. At its tip were twin red eyes, silently watching. As he inspected it, the sword glowed again and transformed back into Mai. It is my honor to serve you, Naruto-sama, she said gracefully. I am your guardian and weapon. I can shift between various forms, but only you may wield me. Anyone else will suffer instant death as I consume their soul. I currently house the Loliots. The death goddess will explain more. My powers? Naruto asked. Yes, Kushina began. When I became what I am, I saw a vision of your future. To protect you, I granted you gifts. The first is dominion over darkness. You can control shadows, shape them into physical forms, and summon darkness even in daylight. Within it, your senses will sharpen. You'll also be able to travel through shadows. No Nara will ever compare to your command of it, but you must still train. Mai will assist. My second gift, she continued, is a unique eye technique. It awakened just hours ago, as I had arranged. This eye has 6 stages, you must name it yourself. She detailed each stage: soul sight, see and speak with the dead, sense life energy. Spirit command, assign non-physical tasks to spirits. Identify exact life signatures. Tangible control, assign physical tasks. Assess life condition, health, illness, or impending death. Limited resurrection, bring back the dead temporarily by sacrificing 6 souls. See death's exact date and time. Permanent revival, restore up to 6 souls permanently with 6 offerings. 7th revival swaps out one of the previous. Soul drain and life drain, requires physical contact, allows use of souls stored in Kagetsuchi, empowering them with physical bodies, up to 6. Once a soul dies a second time, it cannot return. Not all souls can return, she warned. Some require my approval. Your father, sadly, is one of those I cannot grant you. Whoa, was all Naruto could manage. Kushina laughed gently. You'll learn even more, things no shinobi could dream of. Mai will guide you. Since I am a deity, I'm restricted from constant contact with mortals, but your father and I will watch over you. That's a promise, she smiled tenderly. Now it's your birthday, want anything special? Sadly, we can only appear to you between 3 and 4 am and only briefly. This time was longer, a special exception. Naruto grinned mischievously. Let's watch a movie. What kind, dear? His mother asked. His smirk deepened. Kushina's Shinigami half swelled with pride. Are you my mommy and daddy? The girl asked, still hiding her face. No, little one, we're part of the Special Forces unit. But don't worry, we'll help you find them, Ito said kindly. What are you even doing out here? Nagi questioned as he stepped closer. If you're not my parents, leave me alone, the girl shouted. Hey now, that's not very polite. We're only trying to help, Nagi replied, clearly annoyed as he placed a hand on her shoulder and gently turned her around. Both Uchiha members were stunned by what they saw, or rather what they didn't see. The girl had no face. Nagi immediately recoiled with a sharp gasp as the girl vanished before their eyes. Snapping out of his shock, Ryudo activated his Sharingan. Kai, he muttered, releasing chakra toward both himself and Nagi to dispel any potential genjutsu. Just then, the girl's haunting humming echoed around them, from 6 different directions. Elsewhere in the village, Izumo yawned, staring blankly into the forest outside the main gate. His partner Kotsu stretched after finishing a crossword puzzle. This is ridiculous. 3 in the morning and we're stuck on gate duty. Who's gonna visit at this hour anyway? Kotsu groaned. As the old saying goes, be careful what you wish for. Izumo squinted into the darkness and spotted 6 robed figures approaching. He nudged Kotsu. Hold it, state your business, Izumo called out. Instead of responding in any known language, the figures uttered eerie, high-pitched gibberish. Where are you from? Kindly show your faces for identification, Kotsu asked, hoping they understood. The figures appeared to comprehend and lowered their hoods. Izumo and Kotsu gasped. They had no heads. Inside the Hawkage Tower, Sarutobi Hiruzen dozed at his desk, hidden behind towering stacks of paperwork. For days, the complaints had been piling up, demands from the villagers intensifying with October 10th looming closer. Many were pushing for Naruto's execution. The boy had vanished. Not even Hiruzen's crystal orb could track him. He assumed Naruto was in hiding, and he couldn't blame the boy, not after everything. Naruto had become distant since the Loliot incident. Hiruzen was abruptly awakened as the temperature in his office plunged. He glanced at the thermometer, rapidly dropping below 0. Hiruzen, came a chilling whisper. He tried to form a fire technique but couldn't summon any chakra. Hiruzen, the voice echoed again, colder, louder, deadlier. Suddenly, an ANBU burst into the room. Hawkage-sama. Hiruzen's eyes narrowed at the man's uneasy posture, rare for a trained ANBU. Yes, sir, there are reports from all over the village. People are spotting beings, some without heads, faces, or limbs roaming the streets. They're not attacking, just appearing. Another ANBU arrived via Shunshin just as the secretary outside screamed. AAAHHH. SKLE2NS. That's what I was about to report, the second ANBU said grimly. What in the world is going on? The Hawkage roared. You alert the ANBU. And you, mobilize all available Jounin. We may be under attack. As they rushed out, Hiruzen activated his crystal orb. Small trails of smoke rose across the village fires, likely started by panicked villagers trying to destroy the apparitions. This is spiraling fast, the old Hawkage muttered. Sound the alarm now. Namikaze Estate 4 o'clock a.m. Naruto and his family calmly watched the chaos through a 360-degree holographic display. It had been an hour since his mother summoned the damned from the underworld to torment the village. They watched, amused, as civilians set fires and fled screaming. Those who sought refuge in the bunkers ran back out upon seeing them filled with the dead. Only the Ikaraku ramen stand was spared. The spirits were ordered not to appear to the kind owners. Time's up, Kushina said, snapping her fingers. The souls immediately vanished, returning to the underworld. That was fun, Naruto said. Quite enjoyable, Minato agreed. After all they've done to your son, this chaos is well-deserved, Kurama growled. Kushina smiled gently. We have to go now, sweetheart. But we'll visit again, every Saturday between 3 and 4 a.m. Naruto hugged and kissed them goodbye. As the black portal closed behind them, he yawned deeply. Bedtime, little one, Kurama said softly, lifting him and carrying him off with Kagetsuchi trailing behind. Later that morning, poke, giggle, poke, Naruto stirred. Something cold was tracing the marks on his cheeks. He opened his eyes to see a red-haired ghost girl staring at him. She squeaked and disappeared when she noticed he was awake. What was that? You can perceive souls now, remember, Kurama reminded. Oh. Right, a knock came before I entered with a breakfast tray. Did you sleep well, Naruto-sama? Yup, I can't wait to see my parents again next Saturday. How are things outside? Beyond the estate walls, smoke lingered in the air. The villagers spent all morning battling stubborn flames that refused to extinguish easily, no matter what methods they tried. It would take a while before they managed to put everything out. Oddly, no one had died, despite many claiming they were crushed or trapped, yet no injuries were found. Only structures had suffered damage. Still, the psychological scars ran deep. Unbeknownst to them, those who should have perished were held in limbo by the Shinigami, sent back instead of passing on. The Hawkage had locked down the entire village. Patrols scoured every street. ANBU interrogated civilians. Chunin fought the fires. Genin delivered aid, back inside. Starting today, we begin training with your dark release, Mai Kagetsuchi began. Manipulating darkness is like channeling chakra, but this energy doesn't flow through your chakra network. You have 3 systems now. First, your natural chakra, we'll call that your human energy. Second, the chakra gained from the 9 tails, your demonic energy. And third, the gift from the Shinigami, your dark energy. This system is entirely separate and more potent than the others combined. Now, create a shadow clone and split your human and demonic energy into it. Kurama will train you in chakra control. I'll guide your dark power. Naruto nodded. The clone departed and created another for Kurama. With a wave of her hand, Kagetsuchi darkened the training area completely. To unlock your dark pathways, meditate. Connect to the emotions that fuel your power. Remember what you've endured, your parents' absence, the villagers' cruelty, the third Hawkage's lies, the Lolliot's betrayal. Recall your reunion with your parents, and the joy of watching your tormentors panic. Kagetsuchi observed as the training area returned to its usual calm. The surrounding darkness enveloped Naruto, transforming his figure into something almost divine, his form radiating a dark, ethereal glow. Naruto slowly opened his eyes, rising to his feet. He raised his left arm and clenched his fist. A tendril of shadow materialized in front of him, shaping itself into a fist as well. Excellent, Naruto-sama. You've successfully unlocked your dark abilities and have gained control over them. Before we proceed with mastering the rest of your shadow-based powers, I will guide you in the art of shadow travel. Time skip. 1 week later, Naruto sat in deep meditation, struggling to connect with the dark element more fully. Despite his efforts, he found himself at a loss for how to fully harness it. You lack true darkness. Naruto opened his eyes to find a red-haired girl sitting before him in a meditative posture. What did you say? I said, you lack true darkness. To enhance your control, you need to experience more intense negative emotions. There's something holding you back from accessing limitless dark chakra. You need to return to your homeland first. Naruto stared at the ghost in confusion, not understanding what she meant. The girl slapped her forehead, realizing something. Apologies, I forgot. You don't understand our language. Language? Yes, like you, I'm in Uzumaki. Our clan has its own language. Naruto's eyes lit up with interest. You're in Uzumaki. Are there any others here? The ghost locked eyes with him for a long moment, making Naruto uneasy. I can't answer that. You'll have to find out for yourself. but I'll give you 2 clues. 1. Learn our language. 2. Visit the ruins of our home village, Yuzashigakure. Who are you anyway? Ah, I forgot to introduce myself properly. I'm Uzumaki Kasumi. I was a genin about to become a chunin when I passed away. I was only 14 when I died. That's all I can share for now. Also, I can only teach you the basics of our language. You'll need to ask Shinigami-sama, your mother, for further instruction. It'll speed up the process. Time skip. 7 weeks later, Naruto had mastered shadow traveling, though with a limit of 600 meters. During his training, he'd also befriended several other ghosts. 3 days after meeting Kasumi, Naruto had asked his mother about their clan. He learned about Yuzashigakure and the Uzumaki clan. To his surprise, Naruto discovered he had inherited the famed Uzumaki chakra chains, though his chains were obsidian black rather than the usual golden color. He didn't mind. His focus remained on visiting the ruins of Yuzashigakure to learn more about his roots. With everything packed for a week-long stay at Uzu, Kagutsuchi would assist him with the shadow traveling. Before departing, Naruto decided to make a brief appearance at the Hokage office. His first stop would be Ikaraku Ramen for a meal. Hokage's office. Hiruzen sat at his desk, uneasy. The boy used to visit him regularly, but it had been 2 months since he'd last seen Naruto. The day went on as usual, filled with paperwork. But now, Sarutobi found himself gazing into his crystal ball, hoping to find the boy. His patience was rewarded when he spotted Naruto enjoying a meal at Ikaraku. Without hesitation, he summoned his ANBU and instructed them to bring the boy to his office once he finished eating. Ikaraku's Naruto was fully aware that ANBU would be coming for him. He didn't let on though and kept his attention on his food. This ramen's as good as ever, old man. Here, keep the change. Stay safe, I am Chan. I'll be going now. Always a pleasure, Naruto-kun. Come back soon. I will, once I'm strong enough to defend myself. You know how the villagers love me. For now, I have to keep a low profile. Tyuchai gave him a wistful nod and handed him a small package. For your training, it's on the house. Thanks, I'm heading out now. Just then, the ANBU appeared at the stand. Naruto-san, the Hokage requests your presence in his office. All right. Lead the way. The ANBU placed a hand on Naruto's shoulder and used the Shunshin technique to transport him to the Hokage's office. Hokage's office. Sarutobi smiled as Naruto walked in. The boy had changed since their last meeting. He was taller, more athletic, and wore a dark set of clothes, with a sword sheathed on his back, one the Hokage didn't recognize. Naruto, my boy, it's been so long, come sit. Naruto gave a short nod and seated himself across from the Hokage. Hokage-sama. Hokage-sama, what happened to Jiji? Both Sarutobi and the ANBU wondered. I see. Something's different about him. What happened to you? Where have you been these past 2 months? I've been fine, Hokage-sama. I stayed at my parents' house training. I used a random henge whenever I went out for supplies. Of course. Why didn't I think of that? Sarutobi thought, nodding. I see. You may leave now, Naruto-kun. If you ever need anything, my office is open. Thank you, Hokage-sama. I'll be leaving now. Naruto stood, bowing, and left the office. He made his way to a quiet street, searching for a shadow to travel with. As he was about to shadow travel to Yuzashigakure, he overheard a conversation. You were sent by the Uzukage, a voice spoke. Naruto turned to see 4 ANBU members, their masks unfamiliar to him. With them was an elderly man wrapped in bandages. At first, Naruto thought the old man was glaring at him, but then another voice spoke from behind him. Yes, Kasumi's voice answered. What's going on here? Naruto wondered. Konoha won't help your village. Your mission is a failure. I've already presented the scroll to the Sandaime. He'll send help. Whirlpool is an ally of the Leaf. You have no authority to stop this. I am Shimura Danzo. I found root. I have the authority. Your clan was doomed the moment the Alliance decided to destroy it. I will make sure Konoha doesn't send help. And you, girl, will never see your village again. You will die here. Danzo raged as he turned to leave. The 4-root ANBU drew their blades and prepared to strike. Golden chains erupted from Kasumi's body, defending herself. She killed one and incapacitated another, but was overwhelmed when her body fell under another's control. One of the root ANBU removed his gloves and touched her. Kasumi realized the touch carried deadly bugs that quickly spread over her body. Within moments, she was dead. Naruto blinked in disbelief as the scene vanished, returning to normal. He was alone. What? Naruto was lost in thought, trying to comprehend what he had just witnessed, Kasumi's death and Danzo's cryptic words. His thoughts drifted back to Yuzashigakure. That's where he was headed. Clearing his mind for now, he walked toward a shadow, Before he could travel, Kurama's voice called out to him. Naruto-kun, wait. Mother, what is it? The Sandame will believe you've been staying at the Lolliats. Let's return to the Namikaze mansion. We'll create a clone to stay here while you're gone, in case the Hokage decides to check on you. All right. Namikaze estate, the clone will be unique, Kurama explained as she created the clone. It can cast jutsu and replenish its chakra. My consciousness will also be present in it. It won't be dispelled unless it runs out of chakra, which is practically impossible, or when you command it. The seals on the estate prevented anyone from sensing the Kyuubi's chakra. The process took only 5 minutes as Kurama infused 50% of her chakra into the clone. Why does it look tired? Naruto asked, noticing the clone seemed drained. It still needs to recover your human chakra. Right now, it only has mine. Don't worry about it. It's time for you to visit your homeland. Uzashigakure ruins Uzashigakure, known for its legendary whirlpools that protected it from naval invasions, no longer had its signature natural defense. The water surrounding the island was eerily still. Behind the ruined gate, a blond boy holding a black sword stepped out from the shadows. Naruto stood at the gate, expecting to see the souls of his ancestors. Instead, the village appeared as it once was, a peaceful, vibrant place. Children played, and civilians went about their day, while shinobi stood watch. Confused, he stepped inside the gates, soon realizing the language being spoken was unfamiliar. Then he understood, they were speaking the ancient Uzumaki language. He was grateful to Kasumi for teaching him. Without thinking, he made his way toward a large building, the tallest in the village. 2 red banners bearing the whirlpool insignia fluttered atop its roof. It was the Uzukage's building. As he entered, Naruto found a familiar face, a man with streaks of red in his white hair, sitting behind a desk. Uzukage-sama, Kasumi greeted him respectfully. Ah, Kasumi, you've returned, the Uzukage smiled. I have a mission for you. You who can speak the universal language will be sent to Konohagakure to request aid. What assistance, Uzukage-sama? We've received intelligence about a possible invasion. From which nation? How is that possible? We've been at peace, and we haven't done anything to provoke the others. I understand, Kasumi, but they are afraid of us. Afraid of us? Who is? Kumo, Kiri, and Iwa are all fearful of us. Our village may be small compared to others, but our power in battle could rival 2 entire armies from a major shinobi nation. So they plan to wipe us out. Yes. I need you to leave in 1 hour and deliver this message to the 3rd Hokage. We don't know exactly when the attack will occur, but let's estimate within 3 days. Go now. 3 days later, Uzashigakure Naruto stepped outside the Uzukage building, sensing the chaos in the air. Bells rang throughout the village, and panic filled the streets. Parents screamed in fear, while children cried out in terror. Genin were leading civilians to safety bunkers, and Chunin rushed to gather supplies. Higher-ranked Chunin were organizing their teams, while Anbu and Jounin formed battle lines to intercept the advancing enemy forces. From the shore, Naruto saw the flags of Kumo and Kiri on massive ships, signaling the alliance of Kumo, Iwa, and Kiri to destroy the Uzumaki. What happened to Kasumi? Naruto wondered aloud, remembering a moment before he had traveled to the island. He was startled out of his thoughts by the sound of children's screams. Naruto watched in horror as Kumonin slaughtered innocent children without hesitation. He looked toward the gates and saw them shattered, the bodies of both defenders and attackers scattered across the street. The grim realization hit him, the battle had already begun. Naruto's surroundings shifted as time seemed to skip ahead. The village was now in ruins, the invading ships gone. A heavy silence hung over the area. He sprinted through the destroyed village, searching for survivors, but there were none. You won't find any survivors. They're all gone, a voice echoed. Naruto turned to find the spirits of his fallen clan, their forms glowing faintly in the eerie twilight. Among them was the Uzukage, flanked by the spirits of past Uzukages, including Uzumaki Mito, the first Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi. Naruto, last of the Uzumaki, you've finally arrived. We've been waiting for you, Mito spoke, stepping forward. 1 week later, Uzashigakure Naruto had been taken under the tutelage of the past Uzukages. For the past week, he had been learning the basics of Fuinjutsu and more. In addition to sealing, he was honing his skills with chakra chains, and Mito was teaching him how to properly tap into Kurama's chakra. Though Naruto couldn't fully merge with Kurama yet, he was learning how to harness the power in new ways. Naruto, it's time for you to synchronize with your clone in Konoha, Mito instructed. Synchronize? How does that work? Anything you learn here, your clone will also know. Everything you experience, it will as well. 10 minutes later, Konohagakure Naruto walked the streets of Konoha, his thoughts heavy. It had been a few days since he last checked in with the Hawkage. Now he was walking toward the Hawkage's mansion. Inside, he was greeted by Hiruzen, who was clearly surprised to see him. "Naruto, what brings you here today?" the Hawkage asked, his eyes warm but guarded. "I would like to request something, Hawkage-sama." "Of course, what is it?" "I wish to move into an apartment. The place I am staying doesn't feel right. It brings back unpleasant memories." Hiruzen sighed, understanding the deeper meaning behind Naruto's words. "Very well, Naruto-kun. I know just the place. Please come with me." Later, at the Namikaze estate, Naruto meditated in solitude, feeling Kasumi's presence before her ghostly form appeared. "Good evening, Kasumi," he greeted her. "Good evening, Naruto-kun. I have news about the apartment. The building is brand new, and you'll be the first to occupy it. The previous owner, a wealthy businessman, was ambushed and killed by bandits just last week." "I see. So the place is empty?" Naruto asked, considering his next move. "Yes. The owner planned to sell it, but now," Naruto nodded thoughtfully, his mind working quickly. "I want you to help me find the owner's house. We have business to take care of." At the owner's house, Naruto, disguised as a wealthy businessman named Menmakaze, entered the home of the building's owner, Dodo, accompanied by two clones acting as bodyguards. "Welcome, sir. How can I help you today?" Dodo greeted them, his voice eager. "Good evening, Dodo-san. I'm here regarding the apartment," Naruto said, shaking the owner's hand. Dodo's expression shifted as he realized who Naruto was. "Yes, of course. It's available for rent, though one room is already taken." Naruto raised an eyebrow. "You say the building is occupied?" "Well, yes, but," Naruto interrupted, a glint in his eye, "I'm interested in buying the entire building. I'll offer double the price you're asking." Dodo blinked in surprise, but quickly regained his composure. "Very well, Menma-san. I'll prepare the paperwork." Naruto's smile was tight as he subtly placed a genjutsu on the man. "Good. Bring the papers tomorrow, and make sure the building is transferred to me, Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze." Later that night, in the apartment, Naruto and his clones arrived at the building to find three suspicious individuals lurking around the upper floors. "Let's take care of them," Naruto muttered, his eyes narrowing as he melded into the shadows. As the would-be assassins approached his room, Naruto was already waiting, and in moments, the intruders were incapacitated with his chakra chains. Naruto flicked on the lights, revealing the layout of his new room for the first time. It was quite suitable. There were 4 main areas: the bedroom, the bathroom, the kitchen, and the living room. "What are your plans for them?" Kasumi asked, appearing on top of the 3 unconscious bodies. "Nothing for now," Naruto replied. "Once I unlock the 5th power of my eyes, I'll use their souls as a trade for those I plan to bring back." "I see. Mother, can you reach out to my original and ask him for a seal? Maybe something like a preservation seal, something that works on these lesser beings." Kurama chuckled at the term Naruto used. "I'll inform the original. For now, keep them unconscious. I'll teach you the areas to strike to put them into a comatose state." The next day, Naruto decided to spend the night in his new apartment. During the night, 3 more individuals decided to visit. A pair of civilians broke in around 1 in the morning, and a shinobi, a chunin, arrived around 3. Now there were 6 people ready for sacrifice. 6 souls. 1 soul I can bring back now, Naruto thought to himself as he rose from bed and began his day. I guess living here isn't too bad," he mused. "People will come here and try to kill me, but they'll end up as sacrifices later." "How many do you intend to keep?" Kasumi asked, appearing nearby. "That depends on how many come to try and end me. I've already decided to use Dodo's soul as a sacrifice too. Later, once he gives me the papers and deed for this place, I'll keep him around. I'll make it look like he went on a vacation and never came back, killed by bandits on the road." The original told me to ask the Hawkage for an apartment, so he wouldn't know I didn't really stay at the Lolliot's. Who would have thought it would end up like this? It's a win-win, really. You get sacrifices and keep your heritage a secret, Kasumi responded. "I know. While the original trains and stays hidden from the Hawkage, I collect willing sacrifices here." Naruto laughed as he started preparing breakfast. He had used a clone to turn into a random civilian and buy food. Naturally, he had used genjutsu on the story owners to avoid paying. As he ate, he sensed 5 chakra signatures approaching. One of them he recognized as the Sandames, and the other 4 were likely from his ANBU guard. He finished his meal as the Hawkage reached his door. Naruto opened it immediately upon hearing a knock. "Hawkage-sama," he greeted with a blank expression. "Good morning, Naruto-kun, may I come in?" Hiruzen asked. "Of course." Naruto stepped aside, leading the old man into the living room. "Would you like some tea?" "Yes, please," Hiruzen smiled. Naruto nodded and went to the kitchen, where his clone had just finished making tea. He poured the tea into a cup and returned to the living room. "What can I assist you with, Hokage-sama?" Naruto asked as he served the tea. "I came for two reasons," Hiruzen said, getting straight to the point as he sensed Naruto's unease. "First, I wanted to ask how you like your apartment. Is it to your liking, or would you prefer a different one?" "I like it here, Hokage-sama. I'm the only one living here and it suits me. No one will bother the demon brat," Naruto said calmly. Hiruzen flinched but said nothing. "I see. I'm glad to hear that. The other reason I came is to inform you that the academy will be starting in 4 months." "No," Naruto interrupted. "What? I said no. I won't be attending the academy to become a shinobi of the leaf." Hiruzen was stunned. He hadn't expected this response. "But why? Didn't you say you wanted to become Hokage?" "Not anymore." "Why would I protect a village that despises me?" Naruto retorted coldly. The Hokage was left speechless, feeling the weight of the boy's disdain. Hiruzen didn't know how to respond. "I'm so sorry, Naruto-kun." "Are you really?" Naruto asked, his tone icy. Hiruzen bowed his head in shame. He could feel the boy's unspoken fury. "I might change my mind." Naruto started, leaving Hiruzen with a glimmer of hope. "Really?" Hiruzen looked at the boy expectantly. "If the villagers' attitudes change," Naruto finished. "I know everything, Hokage-sama. I know about that law you enacted, but you never enforced it. You should have done more than just stop them from talking about my status. If you truly regret it, then do something about the villagers." Naruto picked up his teacup and walked into the kitchen. Hiruzen took it as his cue to leave. "I'm sorry, Naruto-kun Minato." "Kushina," Hiruzen muttered as he left. From the kitchen, Naruto could hear the old man's murmured apologies, and it only fueled his anger. Later in the afternoon, Naruto was meditating when he heard a knock on the door. He quickly made 3 clones and transformed them into Menma and his 2 bodyguards. Then he opened the door. Dodo stood there with a wide smile, holding a brown envelope. "Good afternoon, Dodo-san," Menma greeted. "Good afternoon, Menma-sama. Here are the papers. The land and the building are now officially in Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze's name." "Good," Naruto said. He cast a genjutsu, stronger than before, that would last for a week. "You will sell all your properties and give the proceeds to me," Naruto ordered. "Yes, Menma-sama," Dodo replied, grinning. He bowed and left. "What do you plan to do with the money?" Kasumi asked as Naruto dispelled his clones. "Nothing for now. I just know I'll need a lot of money, not counting my heritage. I've got the Lolliot's wealth, and next week, I'll add Dodo's to my collection." 2 weeks later, Naruto happily slurped his ramen, feeling satisfied. He now had Dodo's money from the sale of his properties. A clone had transformed into him and announced to Dodo's household that he was moving to Sunagakure, explaining the sale of all his assets. By the time news of Dodo's caravan being ambushed by bandits reached Konoha, Naruto wouldn't have to worry about the Hokage investigating the businessman's disappearance. During the weekly synchronization, Kurama informed him that the original Naruto was pleased with his progress. The original also approved of capturing the supposed assassins. Over the past 2 weeks, there had been 49 attempts on his life, resulting in 84 souls now available for sacrifice. When he synced with the original for the 3rd time, he finally learned how to seal away bodies. He was now using storage scrolls to keep the bodies, awaiting the original's teachings on sealing storage scrolls into other scrolls for efficiency. 1 year later, Hokage office. "Hokage-sama, we've completed our investigation. It seems Taro is the latest to go missing." Hiruzen cursed. Over the past year, there had been hundreds of reports of disappearances. So far, 834 individuals were confirmed missing, including civilians and shinobi. "Add him to the list. Call my secretary as you leave." The Jounin bowed and left. Moments later, the Hokage secretary entered. "You called, Hokage-sama?" "Yes, I'm going out for a bit. I'll leave my clone here." Outside the Hokage mansion, Hiruzen sighed deeply. The mysterious disappearances troubled him. If an enemy nation were behind it, why would they target civilians? No one had yet rallied against it, but Hiruzen knew it was only a matter of time. His suspicions centered on Orochimaru, who had orchestrated similar disappearances before the Ninetales attack. Does he know about Naruto-kun? Whether Orochimaru knew about Naruto's heritage or not, Hiruzen worried that the boy might become another target. He had to act quickly. Hiruzen made his decision and began walking toward Naruto's apartment, hoping to convince the boy to attend the academy once more. Even if Naruto didn't want to become Hokage, as long as he was at the academy, he would be under the watchful eye of the proctors, giving the Hokage some peace of mind. The Hokage let out a deep sigh. I don't know if you're aware of it, but there have been reports of a large number of villagers going missing, vanishing without a trace. I'm worried that you might be next. If you go to the academy, I will feel a lot better knowing that you're there from morning until afternoon. It would reduce the chances of something happening to you. Just so you know, I can handle myself just fine. Forget about the disappearances. I'm still going to the academy. I have a feeling that the examiners won't try to hinder my progress anymore. Naruto, of course, understood why the examiners at the academy wouldn't stand in his way. 5 months after he began eliminating those who attempted to end his life, people started noticing a pattern. The disappearances began, and the villagers began to suspect it was him behind it. They started to believe that the demon child was finally fighting back. After that, the attempts on his life significantly decreased. Naruto, however, had to say something else to keep the Hokage from suspecting him. And what he said was true. Most of the shinobi he had taken out were chunin, many of them teachers at the academy. So, Naruto knew that this upcoming school year would bring new, less hostile instructors. However, if I'm going to attend the academy, I have one condition. What condition? I want to be placed with last year's class. That way I can be with my age group. Your classmates will probably get jealous, the Hokage chuckled. Then we'll just have demons sealed inside them, Naruto replied nonchalantly. And no, I didn't mean that. Sai, I'm sorry. I just meant they'll be jealous because you didn't start in first grade with them. I know that. If they're jealous, I'll find a demon and seal it inside their stomach. That way they won't have anything to be jealous about, so do we have a deal? Yes, you'll be placed with last year's class. I'm sure you'll catch up quickly. Great. We have a deal then. I'll come by next week once the paperwork's ready. I'll be with you when you enroll. All right, thank you, Hokage-sama. Have a good day, Naruto-kun, Hiruzen said as he left. Konohagakure evening, alleyways, I'm sorry, please let me jiwark, splat. Naruto felt a surge of awareness as the scent of blood filled his senses. He had just killed a group of thugs. At first, they were only attempting to mug him, but when they recognized him as the demon brat, they decided to take it further and kill him. There were 5 of them. Using his chains, he held them in place as he took them down one by one. For the first, he used his shadow manipulation to snap his neck. The second one died when Naruto possessed his shadow and twisted his body in fatal ways. The third was pierced by multiple shadow spikes. The fourth died as his limbs were torn apart simultaneously by Naruto's chains. Ignoring the last thug's desperate pleas, Naruto shoved a chain inside his mouth, splitting it into smaller chains, which spread throughout the body. Then, with untamed wind chakra, he sliced the thug's cells apart, causing his body to explode. You're getting good with your chakra chain elemental manipulation, Kasumi commented as she appeared beside him. It's just raw chakra, Naruto muttered, sounding a bit down. I know, but what you did was similar to the Rasengan. You used pure chakra to attack. Soon you'll be able to add nature manipulation to your chakra chains, just like you're doing with your wind element in the Rasengan. You're right. Thanks, Kasumi-chan. Let's head home. Which one? My parents' house, of course. 1 week later. Good morning, Naruto-kun. Are you ready? Asked the Hokage as he appeared at Naruto's apartment door. You're just enrolling me in the academy. There's nothing to prepare. Unless there's some entrance exam, Naruto deadpanned. Normally, you would need to take one, yes. But since we already know you want to be with those of your age, there's no need for an exam. Plus, you've had home study. Right, I don't want to be with kids younger than me, especially those older than me. They'll likely know me as the demon brat. Hiruzen winced at Naruto's mention of the term, looking guilty. Naruto noticed and scoffed. Let's just get this over with, the boy said. The Hokage nodded, leading the 7-year-old to the academy for enrollment. As they walked, people stared at Naruto with open hostility, while others avoided eye contact in fear of being kidnapped by him. When Naruto noticed the first person glaring at him, he exuded a chilling aura. Unlike normal Ki, his was cold, radiating death. Weak-willed villagers froze in fear, seeing horrific ways they could perish. Even the Hokage, the strongest man in the village, felt chills run up his spine. Just ignore them, Naruto-kun, they can only glare at you. Like hell I will. I'm not the same weak boy you knew, Hokage-sama. If they glare at me, I'll return it 10 times worse. If they harm me, I'll defend myself. And I'll remind you, Hokage-sama, I won't hesitate to kill anyone who attacks me. I've read the laws and self-defense allows for it. The Hokage froze, taken aback by the boy's cold statement. Would he really kill someone at this age? The Sandaime thought. Naruto kept walking. They were near the academy now. What happened to him after that night? Has Mai been secretly teaching him? It's the only explanation. Hiruzen thought as he observed the boy walking ahead of him. It's not impossible. He's only 7, but he already knows how to leak KI like that. I would have sensed any malicious intent from the Kyuubi. We're here, Hokage-sama. Naruto snapped the Hokage out of his thoughts. Ah, right. Follow me to the office, Naruto-kun. Academy inside the office, Naruto saw the examiners, most of them neutral. One, however, stood out, a man with silvery white hair. Naruto immediately recognized him. This was the proctor he'd have to deal with. They stopped at a desk, and after filling out the paperwork, the Hokage led the boy to another room. Hello, Uruka-kun, the Hokage greeted, entering the room. Uruka stood up hastily, bowing. Good morning, Hokage-sama. How may I assist you? Oh, I'm just introducing you to a new student. He'll be placed with last year's batch, the Hokage said, motioning to Naruto. Uruka's expression shifted slightly, but he tried to hide it. Naruto stared at him coldly and radiated some of his dark aura, making Uruka visibly uncomfortable. Ah, this is Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto, this is Uruka Umino. He will be your class advisor. Naruto stopped glaring and muttered, Nice to meet you, Uruka-sensei. Nice to meet you too. I hope I'll be a good teacher for you, Uruka replied awkwardly. The Hokage saw the tension and dismissed Naruto. The boy didn't care, simply looking into a corner before leaving. As soon as he was gone, the Hokage began speaking with Uruka. Namikaze home, so, what did they talk about? Naruto asked aloud. Moments later, Kasumi's ghost appeared. The Hokage told Uruka that you're not the Kyuubi itself but its container. He also explained that you're an orphan, just like Uruka. After some persuasion, Uruka finally agreed that you're innocent. Naruto laughed bitterly, and Kurama snorted. Innocent. I'm 7 years old and I've killed and abducted people. Yeah, I'm innocent, Naruto sighed. Anyway, I want you to follow that white-haired proctor, find out where he lives. I need to know what he's up to. Kasumi nodded and disappeared to carry out Naruto's command. 3 months later, Hokage's office. Is it true? The Hokage asked. An ANBU member in a raven mask kneeled before him. Yes, Hokage-sama, my clan feels more and more isolated. The villagers' treatment has caused tension, and some in the police force are even considering resignation. I see. Tell Fugaku I'll meet with him later today. I'll visit the compound after work. We'll try to resolve this before it escalates. Yes, Hokage-sama. Naruto's apartment. Today's the day, Naruto muttered as he got out of bed. You sound excited, Kurama observed. I am. I'll be looking for someone useful in my class, an ally or perhaps a tool to manipulate. I see. Better get going then. Naruto nodded and prepared for his first day at the academy. He was eager to meet his classmates. Not that he cared about them, but he needed to find someone who could serve his purposes, whether it be for the village's destruction or something else. He had to be cautious. Kasumi had reported that the Hokage now suspected him after the obvious connection to the kidnappings. Word quickly spread that the demon brat was attending the academy. With this news, the assassination attempts ceased, but now, the villagers began plotting to sabotage his education. Sometime later, Konoha Academy, Uruka's class. All right, class. Before we begin, I'd like to introduce your new classmate. The chatter in the room died down as the students turned to face the new arrival. This is Naruto, Uruka said, gesturing toward the boy. The students scrutinized the blonde. Sensei, is he a transfer? Asked a student. No, Uruka replied. He was born and raised here. Then why didn't he attend the first year? Another student with a small dog perched on his head inquired. Naruto has. Well, let's say he has a unique situation, Uruka said, looking uncomfortable. He couldn't join in the first year because of certain circumstances. He was homeschooled. Was he ill? A different student asked. Uruka was about to speak when Naruto cut in, his voice firm. No, I wasn't sick. To clarify, I had to stay hidden for almost 2 years, trying to avoid assassination attempts. There were people who wanted me dead. It only stopped about 3 months ago. A stunned silence filled the room. Even Uruka was speechless, not aware of the extent of Naruto's troubles. Uruka muttered. The Hokage didn't mention any of this. I suppose he left it up to Naruto to tell us. I hadn't expected him to share this much. But if that's what the Sandaime intended, I won't question it. Clearing his throat to regain control, Uruka addressed the class. Naruto, before you find a seat, could you tell us your full name, your likes, dislikes, hobbies, and what your dreams are? Naruto gave him a long, blank stare, making Uruka visibly uncomfortable. After a tense pause, Naruto finally spoke, his voice cold. My name is Uzumaki Naruto. You'll figure out what I like as you get to know me. As for dislikes, well, I have plenty. My hobbies, you'll see those too eventually. And for my dream, it's to bring my clan back. If you're curious, do some research on the Uzumaki clan. That might explain why assassins were after me. By the way, my mother's from the Uzumaki clan, but my father wasn't. I don't use his surname, because it would increase the risk of me being targeted. My father was the last of his clan before he died. Naruto was determined to let the class know about his family. He knew Uruka would eventually figure out that the Hokage had already shared some details with him, but he also suspected that the Sandaime might not have told the full story. After his declaration, Naruto chose a seat in the back of the room, keeping his gaze on his classmates. 1 month later, the class was starting to take more interest in Naruto, though they still didn't fully understand him. Naruto didn't mind. He knew things would change after the semester ended. During his observations, only 2 students really caught his attention. First was Neji Hyuga, the class prodigy. A member of the Hyuga branch family, Neji rivaled the heir to the main family in talent. But what really intrigued Naruto wasn't just Neji's intelligence. It was the intense bitterness and coldness that radiated from him. Second was Sasuke Uchiha, the class troublemaker. Unlike the rest of his clan, Sasuke was loud, boisterous, and constantly drew attention. He openly declared he would be the first Uchiha to become Hokage, often pranking villagers and getting into trouble. While Sasuke was a troublemaker, he was tied with Neji for the top ranking in the class. 5 months later, the second term began, and Naruto had risen to the top of the class. Neji and Sasuke were tied for second. Naruto had learned more about both students. He now understood why Neji was so resentful. He blamed his cousin Hinata for his father's death, and he loathed the Hyuga main family for enslaving the branch family with the caged bird seal. Sasuke's situation was different. The boy simply wanted to be acknowledged by the villagers. Sasuke had noticed the cold reception his clan received from the villagers, but didn't understand the reasons behind it. He thought that if he became Hokage, the villagers would finally accept his clan. Poor Sasuke. So naive, Naruto thought as he observed him. He has no idea what's really going on. Naruto was well aware of the Uchiha's plan for a revolt and the Hokage's attempts to defuse the situation. He had heard whispers from the ghosts around him about the impending coup. 5 months later, Hokage's office. It will happen tonight. They've finally made their decision, the Raven ANBU reported. I see. So peace talks are out of the question, Hiruzen said solemnly. Are you sure you want to carry out Plan B yourself? I've made my choice, Hokage-sama. My loyalty is to the village, not to my clan. If I sided with them, Konoha would be plunged into a civil war. That would leave us weak and vulnerable to attacks from other villages. I can't let that happen. I will ensure peace, even if it means destroying my own clan. You understand the consequences. I do, Hokage-sama. My only request is that you look after Sasuke after I'm branded a missing nin. I can't bring myself to kill him. Very well, here's your mission scroll. You'll carry out the mission tonight. I'll ensure Sasuke is taken care of. Itachi nodded and took the scroll, leaving the office to prepare for the night's task. Namikaze residence. Afternoon. Naruto had just finished a training session and was taking a break. He'd unlocked the 3rd level of his Dijutsu a week ago, which allowed him to command souls for tasks that required physical interaction. As he relaxed, the ghost of Kasumi appeared before him. I have news from the Hokage's office. Itachi Uchiha has been ordered to eliminate his clan tonight. The only survivor will be his brother, Sasuke. Before Naruto could process this, another ghost appeared, this one wearing a traditional yukata with the Senju symbol on the back. Tonight, Konoha's 3rd clan massacre will take place. The Uchiha will be wiped out. It's going to be done by one of their own, no less, the ghost exclaimed. Naruto, Kasumi, and Kurama listened intently. Explain, Naruto demanded. The first massacre occurred after the Second War when Kumo, Iwa, and Kiri attacked Uzumaki. Konoha failed to intervene, and the Uzumaki were slaughtered. The second massacre happened months after the Uzumaki fall. The Senju were angry at the Konoha leadership for allowing it. Eventually, the higher-ups ordered the Senju to be destroyed. The 3rd massacre will happen tonight. The Uchiha clan will fall next. Naruto processed this chilling information. It seemed Konoha's high-ranking officials had orchestrated the destruction of 3 clans. More details can be found in the Hokage's vault, the Senju ghost added. Understood. I'll need those scrolls. Have them brought to me in 3 days. The originals, not copies, Naruto ordered. As you wish, Naruto-sama, the ghost responded. Naruto turned to Kasumi. I want you to follow Itachi tonight. Keep him in check. Later that night, at the Uchiha compound, disappearing and reappearing in the shadows, Naruto harvested the souls of his enemies with Kagetsuchi, absorbing them into his weapon. The massacre continued for nearly 30 minutes before a ghostly figure materialized in front of him. It was a phantom from the Uchiha clan. Forgive the interruption, Naruto-sama. I am Shisui. I've come to inform you that Danzo, along with 30 route ANBU, is en route to the compound. He plans to steal the Sharingan and claim them for himself. Naruto nodded, observing the ghost's eyes, closed and bleeding. What happened to your eyes? Danzo took them. I see, and what would you have me do? You may choose to keep them, or destroy them. Very well, while I despise the Uchiha, thieving bloodlines is unconscionable. I won't allow him to steal what isn't his. I'll ensure the Uchiha eyes are destroyed and recover yours. Thank you, Naruto-sama. It will take a non-Uchiha's body a full day to adapt to transplanted Sharingan. Since he took mine, which were no ordinary Sharingan, it will be a week before Danzo can properly wield the Mangekyo. Shisui said before vanishing. Naruto muttered an incantation in an ancient tongue, the language of Yomi. Beowulf, from the shadows, 31 monstrous creatures emerged. They resembled werewolves but were far bulkier, with white spikes protruding from their bodies. Their jet-black forms were only visible due to their glowing eyes, and they all stood in rapt attention. Track down the route ANBU, they wear blank masks, eradicate them, consume them, leave no trace of their existence. The largest of the creatures, the Alpha Beowulf, howled in a way only its kind could comprehend. The others joined in the howl and followed their leader into the shadows to hunt their quarry. Beringel, Ursa Major, nevermore. A hulking gorilla-like creature appeared, flanked by 2 bear-like beasts. Like the Beowulfs, they were black as night, armored in white with red markings, and their eyes glowed red. A huge demonic crow screeched from a rooftop, its piercing gaze fixed on Naruto. You 4 will hunt Danzo. He has bandages all over his upper body. Beat him to death, but keep him alive. Nevermore, pluck out his eyes and return them to me intact. The 4 creatures set off to fulfill their orders as Naruto continued to deal the final blows to the fallen Uchiha, harvesting their souls with Kagutsuchi. Parents, Minato Namikaze, Konoha's Yellow Flash, 4th Hokage, deceased Kushina Uzumaki Namikaze, Whirlpool Princess, former Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails, deceased godparents. Mikoto Uchiha and Jiraiya of the Sannin Guardians. Mikoto and Fugaku Uchiha, deceased age, 8 height, 37 eye color, light blue hair color, blonde unique features description, 3 whisker-like marks on each cheek, a distinctive birthmark inherited from his mother due to his connection with the Nine Tails. Abilities: Uzumaki Healing Factor to be discovered, Uzumaki Longevity to be discovered, Jinchuriki abilities, currently dormant rating. Low Genin level currently. Sasuke stared at Naruto in silence as he processed the information. After a moment, he glanced between the folder and Naruto several times, realizing something. Wait. When you introduced yourself in class, you said your dad was the last of his clan, and that you used your mother's last name for your safety because your father was the 4th Hokage. Sasuke's eyes widened. Of course, you look exactly like him. How did I miss that? He paused, contemplating what he had just learned. His thoughts shifted, and he turned his gaze back to Naruto. It says here that your mother was the former Nine Tails Jinchuriki, and that you're the current one. What exactly does that mean? Naruto sighed and replied. A Jinchuriki. It's a human who contains a tailed beast. There are 9 beasts, so there are 9 Jinchuriki in total. Sasuke blinked. You have a demon sealed inside you, he said in a shocked whisper. Yeah, Naruto confirmed. Sasuke went silent for a moment before asking another question. It also says your godmother was Ka-chan, but you didn't live with us. Why didn't my parents adopt you? They were supposed to be your guardians. Naruto leaned back in his chair, considering how much to reveal. Do you know much about the Jinchuriki or the Mangekyo Sharingan? Sasuke shook his head. I just learned about Jinchuriki today. I know the Mangekyo Sharingan is the next stage after the 3-Tomo Sharingan, but that's about it. Naruto nodded. I won't explain the Mangekyo to you. I'm not an Uchiha. But you'll learn about it eventually. What I do know is that it can control tailed beasts. Let me tell you something. 8 years ago, on the 10th of October, my mother, who was the Nine Tails Jinchuriki at the time, was giving birth to me. The place where she was giving birth was far from the village and heavily guarded by ANBU. Only a few seconds after I was born, an Uchiha appeared and killed the medical staff. He took me and placed bombs all over my body before tossing me in the air. My dad caught me, but the Uchiha used the distraction to release the Nine Tails from my mom. The Uchiha had the Mangekyo Sharingan. He controlled the Nine Tails and ordered it to attack the village. Thousands died before my father managed to reseal the Nine Tails inside me. But the Uchiha tried to stop him, ordering the Ninetales to kill me. My parents were injured trying to protect me, but they managed to release the Ninetales from the Uchiha's control. The Uchiha ran away and I became the new host. The Sandaime had to step in and become Hokage again. The problem was, the identity of the Jinchuriki was never supposed to be known. My mother's status was kept secret. Mine, it wasn't. The whole village found out and started seeing me as the Ninetales incarnate, even though I was just the container. Sasuke seemed lost in thought. And that's why your godmother couldn't adopt you. Because they would have suspected the Uchiha clan, Naruto nodded. Exactly. If they adopted me, the village would have connected them to the Ninetales attack. The whole village would have assumed they were involved. It's all a mess caused by a rogue Uchiha, but the villagers wouldn't listen to reason. Sasuke was struggling to process everything, so Naruto handed him another folder. This one's for you. It's got details on certain people. Important ones, I'm still getting more information. Sasuke took the folder and read the names. Hiruzen Sarutobi, Danzo Shimura, Koharu Udatane, Himura Mitokado. Naruto leaned in. These four are the reason we're the last of our clans. Sasuke nodded slowly, still trying to piece everything together. Naruto continued. I've got more for you, but this is highly classified. These are from Konoha's vault, SS-rank secrets and missions. Only those four old men know about them. Make sure you keep them safe. He handed over 3 more folders. Sasuke opened them, eyes scanning over the contents. The Uzumaki clan massacre, the Senju clan massacre, the Uchiha clan massacre. What is all this? Sasuke gasped, almost choking on the words. Naruto remained calm. Those are the truth behind the clan massacres. The Uchiha were planning a coup. The Uzumaki and Senju were eliminated because they were in the way. Your parents. They were forced to kill their own clans to maintain control. Don't trust them, Sasuke. They'll do anything to protect their power. Sasuke was overwhelmed. Why? Because they're corrupted, Naruto said coldly. They've tasted power and will do anything to keep it. They believe it's all for the good of the village. But they will destroy anyone who stands in their way. Sasuke fell silent as Naruto rose to leave. Remember this, Sasuke. This is bigger than you know, Naruto said as he closed the door behind him. Back in his apartment, Naruto reflected on the events. His plan was working. Sasuke would learn the truth and despise Konoha even more, abandoning his dream of becoming Hokage. He'd created a trail of documents to ensure Sasuke would never go back to the village. Sasuke didn't need to know everything, though. Not yet. Naruto smirked. The village would fall, and Sasuke would be part of it. Finishing his drink, Naruto picked up a large amethyst crystal resting on his expansive desk. It was about the size of a standard scroll. A soul crystal, Naruto mused, eyeing the gemstone. It was a prototype he just completed earlier that day, before heading to the academy. Naruto had sought out the original researchers in Uzushiogakure to understand soul-binding techniques. After the Uchiha massacre, he'd realized the importance of learning how to place dying souls in stasis, so he could later use them while being in 2 places at once. He didn't want to burden his mother like he had in the past. If something similar were to happen again, a clone of Naruto could use these soul crystals to collect souls, while the original handled other matters with Kagetsuchi. Later, the clone would transfer the souls into the weapon. Right now, the crystal could only trap the souls of ordinary civilians. Naruto was still experimenting to figure out how to capture the souls of chakra users. His first target would be genins before he attempted to trap high-level shinobi. Naruto pocketed the gem. It had been 2 weeks since his last kill, and it was time to test the crystal's effectiveness. Not bothering with stairs, he stepped into the shadows, vanishing instantly. Konoha streets in a dim alley, 10 blocks away from his hotel, Naruto appeared briefly before melding with the darkness. The night was when petty criminals and thugs roamed the streets, waiting to prey on unsuspecting citizens. Less than a minute passed before Naruto heard a girl's cry for help. Recognizing her voice, he moved quickly, still hidden in the shadows. As he approached, his eyes widened in confusion. A girl around his age was being accosted by a man in a business suit. "Your father can't save you now, little girl. This is our turf. Don't worry though, I'll make your death quick. When I show your body to the boss, I'll get promoted," the man sneered. "Damn it," Naruto muttered. "I came here to test the soul crystal, not to save some random civilian from these idiots. They can kill each other for all I care, but this isn't going to become a habit." With that thought, he shot a shadow tendril forward, impaling the thug in the chest. The girl screamed, but not in fear. As blood splattered across her dress, she stepped back, startled, as the man crumpled to the ground in a bloody mess. Naruto calmly approached the fallen thug and retrieved the soul crystal from his pocket. Tossing the gem onto the gangster, he formed a hand seal, the 13th seal used by the Shinigami. Soul bind. A soft purple glow enveloped the alley as the crystal began to pulse. A thin light connected the thug's body to the gem. After a few moments, the light flickered and faded. Soul bind successful. Nice work, Narukun. The Shinigami-sama will be pleased, Kurama's voice echoed in his mind. I'll need to work on hiding the glow, though. It's too noticeable. I can't have people seeing this every time I trap a soul, Naruto muttered, ignoring the girl still gaping at him. He took the soul gem and noticed that it had turned a darker shade of purple. Good, now I can tell which crystals are full and which ones are empty. The girl, still shocked, managed to speak. She stammered. Thank you for saving my life. It was nothing, Naruto replied dismissively. You're strong, you took him down in one hit. He's an assassin, did you know that? Really? Naruto raised an eyebrow. Yeah, I'm Yujito. My father told me never to talk to strangers or tell them my name, but you saved me, so it's only right I thank you. I'm Yujito Kurama. Kurama, are you related to the fox? The girl giggled, misunderstanding his question. Oh yes, the fox is my father, he's the head of the Kurama family. Oh right, she's a civilian. She wouldn't know about the Kyuubi. Naruto thought to himself. Who are you? She asked curiously. Naruto, he answered, extending a hand. Naruto what? I'm Yujito Kurama. Do you have a last name? I want to know. Daddy will reward you for saving me. Come with me, she said enthusiastically, taking his hand and pulling him along. The next day Uchiha compound, so, what do you think? Naruto asked as he accepted a glass of juice from Sasuke. I think Itachi is a traitor, Sasuke replied. The village already knows that, Naruto said, shaking his head. No, I mean, he's a traitor to his own family. He chose the village over the Uchiha clan. He allowed himself to be used as a tool by the village. If he had just stayed neutral, that would have been one thing, but no. He killed everyone, and he wasn't doing it out of mercy. That last encounter wasn't about sparing me, it was about making sure I stayed alive because the village ordered it. So, what's your plan? Naruto asked, intrigued. I owe you, Naruto. I owe you for telling me the truth. If you need anything, you have my help. We'll train together. Nobody can enter the Uchiha grounds without my permission. My parents probably set it up for you, since they're technically your guardians. You can stay here with me. We're like brothers now because my mother's your godmother. We'll train hard and when the time comes, I'll help you take down Itachi. And what about the village? Still want to be Hokage? Sasuke looked grim. Not anymore. I hate this place. Konoha deserves to burn, Naruto smiled. Good, then it's time you knew the truth about who I really am. I see, you won't be sticking around here for long then, Naruto remarked. At their puzzled expressions, he began recounting his past in Konoha. I'd relish watching this village burn, seeing their clan members die slowly, hearing them scream in agony and beg for mercy. Mercy they never gave to me or my family. Then why are you still here? Someone asked. Naruto didn't respond immediately but just flashed a sinister grin. The guards who were eavesdropping felt a chill run down their spines. I'm not sure I'm ready to share that yet, he said with a dangerous tone. I see, Rakudo responded seriously. Maybe I can earn more of your trust if I tell you that I'll give you anything you ask in return for saving my daughter. That sounds tempting. Are you sure you mean anything? Yes, provided it's within the realm of reason. So what do you want? Simple, I have a proposal for your family. Rakudo raised an eyebrow, intrigued. I'm a skilled shinobi. Despite being just an academy student, my abilities rival those of Chunin in this miserable village. I'm especially adept at Fuinjutsu and will soon be a sealing master. I also have wealth. I own a 5-star hotel and am planning to build another. Your family can use it as a headquarters. If you decide to stay, it'll be the safest place for you. I'll also teach your daughter the ways of the shinobi, and maybe more than that. After all, I'm the vessel of the strongest-tailed beast. You make a compelling offer. But what do you seek in return? In exchange, I want the authority to command your men when needed. If there's something I need handled, I'll rely on them. The person training Yujito will also teach me how to wield a sword. Lastly, I'll need the loyalty of the Kurama family. Rakudo was silent for a moment. Naruto continued. Even at 8, I understand how adults think. I'm well aware of what syndicates are capable of. I have my own share of unsavory deeds. I can share a few if you'd like, but you'd have to agree to my terms first. Rakudo chuckled. I honestly expected you to ask for a marriage contract with my daughter. I'm not interested in that for now. Maybe when I'm older, I might consider asking for your beautiful daughter's hand. Naruto smirked as Yujito flushed. Normally, the head of an organization would turn down such a request. But since I said I'd give you whatever is possible, I'll honor my word. You make a solid case, and such opportunities don't come every day. Plus, having you as part of the family would greatly benefit our name, especially with you being the host of the Kyuubi, also known as Kurama. I accept. Great, Naruto nodded and shook Rikudo's hand. We'll formalize everything tomorrow afternoon. Here's the address of the hotel. I'll have the paperwork and rooms prepared. Are we moving in already? Asked Yujito. Of course. Now that we're allies, your safety is my priority. The sooner you move into the hotel, the better. We can't risk your Biju acting up and revealing you. You haven't bonded with it yet, and my hotel has seals that hide strong chakra signatures. You talk like you don't need protection, Yujito pouted. Naruto smiled. You saw me take down that man earlier. Trust me, I can defend myself. If I ever face someone stronger, I have ways to escape. You'll learn more about me tomorrow. I'll take my leave now. Thanks for hosting me. Naruto stood up and bowed. No, Naruto-san, we should be the ones thanking you, Rikudo said, bowing in return. Naruto shook hands with the boss and his daughter before being escorted outside to the same carriage he had arrived in. During the ride, he pulled out his soul gem and smiled. Good work tonight, Naruto, said Kurama, her voice soft as she drifted to sleep. The next day, present-time Uchiha compound, I see dead people, Naruto casually said. Sasuke blinked. In your dreams? Nope, while you're awake. Yep, Sasuke looked confused. Dead people like in graves, coffins, Naruto nodded. How often do you see them? Every time I kill someone, Naruto replied, laughing darkly. Sasuke gave an awkward laugh. He felt uneasy. But seriously, Sasuke, I see them, I see souls. I was blessed by death by the Shinigami. How? It happened when the Kyuubi was resealed. My father used the Shikifujin. Naruto then explained how his mother became the next host for the Shinigami, how she glimpsed Naruto's future, and the powers she bestowed upon him. But he didn't tell Sasuke about his Dijutsu. That was a secret. He only mentioned his ability to see and command souls, which was enough to unsettle Sasuke. This knowledge would ensure Sasuke's loyalty to Naruto. I believe you. That explains how you seem to know things most people wouldn't, Sasuke admitted, recalling the files Naruto had given him. Exactly, Naruto smirked. So, what now? Sasuke asked, though he looked slightly nervous. For now, we train, but first we have a certain thief to deal with. He's being held prisoner and we need to make sure he doesn't root his way out. Root Danzo? Yes. Wait, you said deal with him. Yes. We're going to kill someone. Yes, we are. He wronged both our clans. He tried to steal from yours. He needs to die. You'll be the one to kill him. Kill? We're only 8. We're 8, Naruto corrected. And I made my first kill when I was 7. Without waiting for Sasuke to respond, Naruto left the compound. The next day, Naruto's hotel, it was afternoon, and the Kurama family had just settled in. Rikudo, Yujito, and the rest of the family were occupying rooms on the floors below Naruto's penthouse. Naruto was reviewing documents and land titles. He had just finished negotiating with the owner of the adjacent property to purchase it, and demolition was scheduled to begin the following day. The new hotel would become the Kurama family's official headquarters. He placed the folders away and retrieved a crate from under his desk. It contained a small crossbow that Rikudo had given him earlier. The weapon was set to be released on the market next month, but the family had acquired it early through their connections. It was designed for stealth and could be concealed easily. Naruto was studying it, planning to modify it into a semi-automatic version by attaching a scroll to hold bolts. This way, he wouldn't need to reload manually, maintaining stealth while firing more rapidly. After testing it out, he placed the weapon back in its crate and stood up. With some time left in the afternoon, Naruto decided to deal with a few lingering souls he'd sealed away. These were the ones who had tried to harm him when he first moved into his hotel. They were in a comatose state, but it was time for them to die. He had grown stronger over the past 2 years. Now, with mastery over his dark element, he could use the Kagetsuchi sword to seal souls. He'd even practiced this technique during the Uchiha massacre. Tonight, he planned to finalize it. Later that night, Uchiha compound ready? Naruto asked. Sasuke nodded, though Naruto could sense the boy's anxiety. Here, Naruto offered Kagetsuchi, now in the form of a katana. It's cold, Sasuke remarked as he gripped the hilt. It is, Naruto agreed. This is Kagetsuchi. She's a sentient sword. Normally, anyone who handles her besides me dies. Tonight, you'll be the one to wield her. You'll deliver the final blow to Danzo. All right, so what's the plan? Sasuke asked, his grip tightening on the sword. Danzo's in a special cell at the prison's second level. His trial is tomorrow, but his root agents plan to break him out tonight. We'll wait for them. The ghosts will keep watch. Once they arrive, you create a distraction, and I'll free Danzo. We'll escape before the guards catch us. We'll be wearing root uniforms, here. After Sasuke changed into his root outfit, they proceeded with the plan. Let's go, Naruto urged. Grab my arm, we're heading to Danzo's cell. Konohagakure prison's second level, the two of them were hidden in the shadows. Sasuke waited by the stairs, while Naruto stood in front of Danzo's cell, watching him pretend to sleep. They're here, Kasumi's voice whispered from the wall. Naruto signaled Sasuke to begin. The Uchiha stepped forward, launching 3 fireballs in quick succession, startling the guards and causing other prisoners to shout in panic. Danzo stopped pretending to sleep and rose. He didn't realize what was happening until chains suddenly bound him. Being blind, he had no idea who was responsible. At the Valley of the End, Naruto and Sasuke stood atop Madara's statue, looking down at their eyeless prisoner. Danzo, disoriented, could feel the coldness of the prison fade, replaced by chilling winds. He realized he was hanging upside down, his vision blank. The sounds of rushing water filled the air. Hello, Naruto greeted with a bright smile. Let's keep this quick. I'm Naruto Uzumaki no Mikaze, Lord of the Whirlpool. This here is Sasuke Uchiha, the future head of the Uchiha clan. You see, we're the last surviving members of our clans, the ones you ordered to be exterminated. You took my cousin's eyes and tried to steal more from my clan, Sasuke growled, the guilt he felt from killing quickly being overridden by rising anger. Exactly. Now that introductions are out of the way, let the show begin. Sasuke, Kasumi, Shisui, and everyone else, watch carefully. Spirits materialized around the 3 living humans, visible only to Naruto. Naruto pulled a pair of pliers from his vest. He stepped closer, summoning his chains to restrain Danzo's hands. He placed Danzo's left thumb inside the pliers and snapped the nail with a sharp crack. Danzo bit down hard, the sudden pain causing blood to spill from his lip. Naruto moved to the next finger, causing Danzo's fingernail to crack and splinter. A soft whimper escaped him. Naruto continued with the 3rd finger. Danzo couldn't hold back anymore and shouted, How dare you, you know who I am. I'm Danzo Shimura, my root agents will hunt you down. Naruto ignored him, continuing the assault on the man's fingernails. When he finished, Danzo was panting from the pain, breath ragged. Torture won't break me, I won't tell you anything. Danzo growled, trying to stay defiant. Naruto's laughter echoed through the room. Who said we're doing this for information? This is just simple revenge, Danzo-chan. Maybe some would call it petty payback for destroying our clans, but it's still payback. Next, Naruto turned to Danzo's toenails, snapping them one by one, drawing even more screams from the man. Sasuke, witnessing the scene, felt no sympathy for the old man anymore. Sasuke, want to give it a try? Naruto grinned, sealing away the pliers and pulling out a hammer. What do I do? Sasuke asked, stepping forward. Take the hammer, smash his fingers, his hands, his toes, go slow. Let him feel every moment of it, Naruto instructed, handing Sasuke the weapon. Go on, your parents are watching. They're here, Naruto urged. Sasuke nodded and began pounding the old man's limbs. The sickening crunch of bones breaking filled the room as he worked. You're doing great. Your parents are proud of you, Naruto cheered him on. Sasuke's pride swelled as he continued, hitting harder and faster with each blow. By the time he stopped, Danzo's voice was hoarse from screaming. His chakra had been sealed, and he was too weak to heal himself. Danzo's body trembled, but he could do nothing to stop the torment. Feeling tired already, Naruto mocked, his voice dripping with venom as Danzo struggled to remain conscious. With a snap of his fingers, Naruto released the chains that had held the man and dropped him to the ground. He pulled a sledgehammer from his scroll and swung it down, hitting Danzo's right knee with a sickening crack. Wake up, Naruto roared, smashing the other knee. You think you can break me? I'll never give you what you want. Danzo screamed in defiance. Naruto's rage only grew as he shattered the old man's collarbone with a brutal swing. Naruto bellowed in fury as he obliterated the bone. He stepped back, sealing the sledgehammer away. Do it, Naruto whispered to Sasuke. Sasuke nodded, stepping forward, his sword raised. For the Uchiha, he shouted, cleaving Danzo in two. The red eyes on his weapon glowed brightly, forcing Sasuke to drop it as it turned ice cold. Naruto pulled out another scroll, sealing away Danzo's body, then took hold of the sword again, watching in awe as it morphed into a scythe. Naruto now resembled a reaper of death. It's done, Sasuke said quietly. One down, 3 more to go, Naruto replied, placing a hand on Sasuke's shoulder. In a flash, they were gone. Naruto gave a small nod and sat up straighter. Understood. You've studied the 5 strongest villages, and you're aware that Kiri has the smallest military force of the five. But what the academy didn't teach you is this. Their graduation process is different from the others. They make all their academy graduates fight to the death until one survives or until time runs out. That explains a lot, Naruto mused. Funny, I had the same idea of wiping out everyone on both sides. Go on. I need you to analyze this seal, Naruto said, pulling out a scroll. This is the one that gives full control over his root. It essentially keeps them silent about anything they know. The old man told me the seals will stay on their tongues for an entire year after his death, giving them time to erase everything related to him and his root. The Uzukages leaned forward, examining the seal. I must admit, this is quite impressive work. The array is intricate. Give us 5 days, a week at most. Leave 100 clones behind to possess and experiment with this seal. What modifications do you suggest? Right now, the seal only prevents speech. I want it altered to only respond to me, making those branded by it completely loyal to me. Understood. And these will be applied to Root, correct? Exactly. I'm sending them to Kiri for me. Once Root is fully under my control, I'll need your assistance with my soul gems. At the moment, they can only trap Genin-level souls and are a bit too obvious. Before I send Root to Kiri, I need these soul gems to hold souls up to low cage level, and do so without any light or sound during the sealing. That's manageable. Excellent. I'll return in a week. With that, Naruto left the office and headed for an open area. After creating 100 reinforced clones, he used shadow travel to return to his hotel in Konoha. Konohagakure Namikaze home. Once Naruto had dropped off his belongings, he made his way to his parents' house. Kneeling before the shrine, he offered a prayer to his mother. Moments later, the air grew cold, signaling the arrival of the Shinigami. What is it, my son? Mother, I seek your permission to use the Edo Tensei. Just once, for Danzo. I'll need him to transfer Root's loyalty to me. Also, I wish to speak with the spirit of Tabarama Senju. I need him to teach me the jutsu. Very well, but just once. Afterward, rely on your Kuragen. I understand, mother. Thank you. After his mother's departure, Naruto stood up and channeled his dark chakra. Come forth, Tabarama Senju, second Hokage of Konoha. 1 week later, Uzushiagakure ruins, it's done, Mito said, handing him a scroll. Just input your chakra to bind the seal to you alone. Naruto nodded and added extra protection with his chakra before pushing it into the seal. There, now we can duplicate it and apply it to your subordinates. Thank you, Uzukages. The Uzukages nodded in acknowledgement. We'll begin working on the soul gems next. I'll assist with applying the seals to Root. Naruto bowed to the spirits before pulling out a scroll, releasing a Kiri Anbu corpse and crouching. Edo Tensei. The reanimated corpse blinked as it adjusted to its new surroundings. Seal. Danzo knelt before Naruto, his head bowed in submission. I want you to return to the Root base. Recall all operatives and apply this seal to their foreheads. Afterward, merge them with the Hokage Anbu until I give new orders. Understood. Is there anything else? Naruto placed a second seal on Danzo's forehead, the loyalty seal, just in case the Edo Tensei's control broke. Now go. 1 month later, Konohagakure Hokage's office. It's official, Hokage-sama. Danzo-sama is dead. We now answer to you. That was his final order. A Root agent reported. I see. But I find it difficult to believe you're truly loyal to me now, Sarutobi said, frowning. After all, your organization was responsible for Danzo's escape. Explain yourself before I have you executed. The Root agent raised his head and stuck out his tongue. The room fell silent. As you can see, the seal that bound us to Danzo is no longer active, Hokage-sama. Sarutobi nodded, finally at ease. He knew about the failsafe Danzo had in place. Very well, I'm integrating Root into the ANBU Corps, starting a new division. You'll be its captain. Understood, Hokage-sama. What are our first orders? I want you to prepare for war. You've heard about the civil war in Kiri. Assist Mei Terumi's faction. You'll depart in 4 months. Understood. Is there anything else? Yes. What is your name? My mission name is Sai, Hokage-sama. Very well, Sai. Inform your division of their new orders. Hi. Later, Naruto's hotel. Good news, Naruto-sama. An ANBU ghost reported. What is it? Root has been integrated into the ANBU under a new division. That was expected. What's the good news? The Hokage is sending them to Kiri in 4 months. I see. He doesn't trust them completely. Sending them to war, he's betting on their deaths. If they die, he's rid of Root. If Mei Terumi wins, he gains an alliance. A win-win for him, but I have other plans. 4 months later, Konohagakure the village was still recovering from the Uchiha massacre. A new batch of recruits had graduated, and with the upcoming graduation, About 300 new genins were added to the ranks. Not bad at all, thought Sarutobi. Uzushiogakure ruins, is everyone here? Naruto asked, looking at the black-clad shinobi before him. Yes, Naruto-sama. 70 of us are present, Sai replied. Good. Here are your soul gems. Naruto handed out scrolls. Each of you has 50. I expect 3,500 filled gems when you return. Trap every soul you can. If a Kiri ninja takes a fatal blow, trap their soul quickly before it fades. Remember, you're nothing compared to the Sandame. That's why I'm protecting you with my dark chakra. It will withstand up to 20 fatal hits, so try not to die. I want those Kiri souls. You are too kind, Naruto-sama. We shall do as you ask, they replied in unison. Later, Konohagakure Academy, Naruto slipped into the room unnoticed, as Uruka continued his speech about the increased military strength and the recognition program for exemplary students. Sitting at his usual spot, Naruto heard Sasuke's irritated voice. Where were you? Business, Naruto responded nonchalantly. You're lucky he's just about to start the roll call, Sasuke muttered as Uruka called the names. Later, the class was interrupted by a knock at the door. An ANBU entered, asking to speak with Ron Kodo privately. Kodo resident Ron Kodo was excited for the recognition ceremony that day. He ate breakfast, feeling proud of himself. However, as he left for school, he didn't notice the looks of sympathy from some merchants in the market. Academy. While Uruka was busy, Ino overheard the gossip. Moments later, Ron Kodo's cries echoed through the school. No, I'm not going to the orphanage. Uruka's eyes widened in realization as students whispered, understanding the news. The Kodo parents' bodies had been discovered in the market. They say his parents were involved with a criminal group from outside the village and tried to sell it here. Ino remarked. The class was appalled, pitying their classmate. In the back, Sasuke sneered at Naruto. You didn't have to do that, you know. I didn't do it for you. Only two people in the back seemed interested. Hinata glanced at Naruto, noticing the smirk on his face. She assumed it was a reaction to what Ron had said on Monday. Neji, however, noticed Naruto smirking in his direction. He understood the message. He smirked back. 2 days after the Academy's recognition day, Monday, Konohagakure Hokage's office. Despite the recent deaths, life in the village continued without disruption. Fortunately, no additional casualties had been reported from Academy students or their families. Hokage Sarutobi had been visited by Ron just yesterday, demanding justice for his parents' deaths. However, after an investigation, it was revealed that the boy's parents were involved with criminals from outside the village. Consequently, the case was dropped, and Ron was sent to the orphanage. Just then, an ANBU, appearing no older than a 10-year-old, entered. Damn that Danzo, recruiting children and sending them to kill at such a young age. Sarutobi sighed, considering Root's influence. The mission was successful, Hokage-sama. Mei Terumi's side has emerged victorious. Sai reported, kneeling. That's great news. Please continue. Indeed, Hokage-sama, Mei is now the Gade Mizukage. She instructed me to inform you that she plans to visit within the week to discuss the alliance between the Mist and Leaf. Very well, what of your division? You will receive your pay tomorrow. There are only 21 of us left. Many fell fighting the Yonde Mizukage. That's understandable. The Hokage nodded, recognizing the challenge of facing a Jinchuriki. You and your division may take 3 days off. Thank you, Hokage-sama. Perhaps I should send them on more dangerous missions. Can't have Danzo's ANBU serving me. Sarutobi muttered, puffing on his pipe. It would be a mercy if I just had them eliminated. Later, Naruto's hotel. Naruto paced his study, deep in thought, when Sai's presence alerted him. Mission. Harvest souls was successful, Naruto-sama. Sai said, handing over 3 large scrolls containing the soul gems. Naruto nodded in approval. Good, now I have 5,000 souls. Only 4,000 more to resurrect the Uzushiogakure village. He gestured for Sai to report. Hi, we managed to collect the required number of souls from both enemies and allied Kiri rebels. 49 of us died during the battle. Excellent, have the 49 begin infiltrating Kiri. Fu and Torun will supervise. Since Mist is still recovering from the war, they'll be willing to recruit new ninjas, even if they aren't from Water Country. Understood, Naruto-sama. From now on, you are no longer Root. You are my shadows. You have 4 years to recruit and train 600 new shadows, 400 in Kiri, 200 in Konoha. The Hokage will soon send you on suicide missions. He's eager for your deaths. When you die, start recruiting and training. Now go. Later that afternoon, Hyuga compound, training grounds. Neji was alone, practicing his Dijutsu techniques when he heard clapping behind him. Impressive, Hyuga-san. You're truly a genius to be able to perform techniques exclusive to the main branch. I didn't notice you, Uzumaki-san. Or should I say, Namikaze-san? Neji smirked. Ah, so you know. I did some research after the first semester. I see, so what do you know about me? You're the son of Kushina Uzumaki and Minato Namikaze. If Uzushiogakure still existed, you'd be the heir. Is that all? Naruto asked, smiling. Neji frowned. Yes, what else should I have known? Naruto stepped closer, producing a scroll. Here, it requires your blood to be locked to others. Once sealed, only you will be able to read it. But be cautious. If the authorities get their hands on it, you're in deep trouble. It's an SSS rank secret. I got it from the Hokage's vault and made copies. Naruto grinned. Neji's cold demeanor faltered as his eyes widened. Then why? Just read it, okay? And before you ask, my answer is no, I don't know. It could be the Hyuga, Inuzuka, Yamanaka, Nara, Akimichi, or a Burame clan next. Keep everything to yourself. I know you despise this village too, that makes 3 of us. Who's the third one? Neji began, but Naruto vanished before he could finish. Neji decided to cut his training short and retire to his quarters to read the scroll. Uchiha compound, Sasuke's home. Hello, Sasuke, Naruto said, stepping from the shadows. Naruto, Sasuke nodded. I've come to inform you that Neji knows. You told him. I gave him a copy of the documents I gave you. I'll explain things further next time I see him. Very well. So I should expect a visit from him. Yes. With that, Naruto disappeared into the shadows and made his way to the Kurama family's hotel. Later, at the family's hotel, Naruto, Wave used to be part of Uzushiogakure, right? Reito asked, serving Naruto a drink. Naruto took it with a nod. Yes, why? There's a man named Gadu, a wannabe businessman, a gangster at heart. He just left Kirigakure now that the war's over. He's made a fortune from it. Right now, he's eyeing Wave. He could move in within a month. Naruto nodded, silently sipping his drink. Thanks for the info, but I'll ask that you leave him and Wave alone. We'll keep an eye on him. If trouble arises, we'll step in. We'll move into Wave then. Reito raised an eyebrow. Move in? You mean the whole family will relocate? Naruto nodded. I've decided. In 2 years, I'm leaving the village. We'll let Gadu wreck Wave. Once they finally ask for help, we'll intervene. That should take about 4 years at most. Reito raised an eyebrow but remained silent. He trusted Naruto's plan. Though young, he was incredibly sharp. Naruto maintained an impassive expression. He had his reasons. Wave had abandoned Uzushiogakure after its fall, and he wanted them to suffer. If Gadu started his destruction now, it would take years before anyone came for aid, time enough for Sasuke and Neji to graduate. 4 years then, murmured Reito. Yes, now let's talk about Yujito's training. I've found someone to help her train her Jinchuriki abilities. Naruto formed hand seals and created a shadow clone. Unlike regular clones, this one was made of his dark chakra, making it real. He took out Kagetsuchi and stabbed it into the floor. A circular void appeared where the blade pierced the ground. Yagura Karatachi, hear me and obey, I summon you. The ghost of the Yonde Mizukage materialized, kneeling before Naruto. Naruto motioned toward the clone. As the ghost took possession of it, the clone's features shifted to resemble Yagura's. Naruto turned to Reito and Yujito. I can't teach Yujito, as our tail numbers are too far apart. But since Yagura had the Sanbai and she has the Nibai, their training styles will be similar. From now on, every weekday, I'll transport Yujito to Uzushiogakure to train her Jinchuriki powers. That's amazing. I get to train with a cage, Yujito exclaimed, causing both Naruto and Reito to smile. Naruto dismissed the ghost and instructed it to return the following morning. He spent the rest of the evening discussing various matters with his adoptive family before retiring to his penthouse suite. The following day, Uchiha compound, training ground, Sasuke was finishing his morning exercises when the compound seals warned him of a visitor. He went to greet them, knowing who it was. So you know, Sasuke asked, leaning against a tree. Yes. Do you trust Naruto? Sasuke asked, curious. I see no reason not to, Neji shrugged. Good. So you understand his status. Neji raised an eyebrow. Which one? Him being the son of the Yondaime and heir to Uzushiogakure, or the Jinchuriki? The latter, Neji frowned. I've made some inquiries about Jinchuriki. Every time I asked, people scowled, which made me think it's a bad thing. But I think they're just biased. I'm still figuring it out. You're right about that. Anyone 12 or older is either biased or just ignorant, Sasuke replied, straightening up. He led Neji to his house, explaining everything that had happened 8 years ago, up to the Uchiha massacre. Neji was quiet, processing the information. After some silence, Sasuke asked, So what do you think of Naruto? And the village? My opinion on Naruto hasn't changed. He's earned my respect. As for the village, I was right to think they're fools. Even the higher-ups are allowing these bad things to happen. My hatred for this village has only grown. Naruto, concealed in the shadows, grinned. He had been listening to their conversation the whole time. That Uchiha boy is loyal to you, that's good. Seems like you may have another loyal ally. Kurama's voice echoed in Naruto's mind. After hearing Neji's response, Naruto chose to reveal himself. Well said, Neji. Neji, usually stoic, jumped in surprise. Sasuke chuckled. You'll get used to it. Naruto, how long have you been there? Neji asked, startled. Just in time to hear your thoughts. I see, so what's next? I'll be direct. I need you to turn down the academy's offer to skip grades. What, but why? Sasuke asked, shocked. I have plans, one of them needs both of you. Tell us about this plan that involves us, Neji said. I need you both to stay on the same level as the rest of your classmates. When graduation comes, you'll have to be placed on the same team. To make that happen, one of you must be last in the class, and the other must be the top student. The two of you can remain at the top until grade 5. The academy only uses grade 6 results to determine team placements. I don't care which one of you is dead last. The choice is up to you. Neji was quiet as Sasuke thought for a moment before asking, what's in it for us? At least one of you can think, Naruto grinned. Agree to this, and starting tomorrow, an ANBU will be training you. Personally, will we share the same trainer or will each of us have our own? Neji asked. One for each of you, Naruto replied. It wouldn't be a problem. After all, he had found a temporary solution for his current inability to bring the dead back. By creating special shadow clones for spirits to possess, it required an eighth of his dark chakra, which solved his problem. Although the clones had to be recreated twice a day, Naruto estimated that it would take 2 to 3 more years before he could awaken his Kuregen's 4th level. Neji and Sasuke nodded, the latter smirking. You drive a good deal, Naruto, Sasuke said. True, we just need to refuse the grade skip and still get advanced training, Neji added. But will you share some of your plans? Or at least tell us why we need to be on the same team. Oh sure, my plan is to accept the grade skip. After that, I'll excel in 4th grade, and then I'll be offered another grade skip. So I'll enter 6th grade. By the 2nd term, I'll leave the village. It will be easier if I leave as a civilian, not a registered genin. I can erase my records at the academy. The reason I'm skipping grades is to get to know more academy students. Remember my introduction? I'll say the same to them. Before I leave, I want academy students to realize or figure out my background. By the time I'm gone, everyone will know I'm the son of the Yondaime. Sarutobi won't be able to stop it. The village will be in chaos. And let's not forget that my father's enemies will start snooping around Konoha. More chaos. Naruto smirked at the last part. You're ruthless, Neji muttered, grinning. Count me in. Me too, Sasuke said. So, who's going to be our 3rd teammate? Whoever's the top girl in the graduating class. Right now, it looks like it'll be the Haruno girl, Naruto replied, shrugging. Can't you arrange for her to not be on our team? No, don't worry about her, she's just a fangirl. She'll be the first to die on missions, Naruto answered. Now, another thing. Since you'll be the best team, I believe Kakashi Hadake will be your Jounin sensei. And trust me, he's useless. He'll just keep you on D-rank missions. What I want you to do is drag it out. Keep doing D-rank missions. Eventually, a mission from Wave will come in. Make sure you don't take it, have another team do it. Both Neji and Sasuke agreed without further questions. After all, if they followed Naruto's plan, they'd be trained by an ANBU. Oh, and one last thing. Act hostile towards each other in public. That's all. You'll meet your teachers tomorrow. Naruto said, then walked off toward the shadowed corner and vanished, heading back to his hotel. Back at Naruto's hotel, why involve the Hyuga? Kurama asked. Well, I need an inside source here. Sasuke will leave the village someday too. His target lies outside. Neji, on the other hand, has less ambition. His target is Hinata, though I don't think he has the heart to kill her. He might maim or cripple her, but murder the heiress? No. He has resentment, but not enough to leave the village. Time skip, 2 years and 6 months. Local barbecue restaurant Kin worked part-time at a barbecue restaurant. Like everyone, he had a secret. His secret was that he was actually a spy from Iwa. It was Tuesday afternoon, and 3 academy students were having a snack. As he delivered their orders, he listened in on their conversation. What's got you so smug, Jin? You've been acting like this since morning, one of the kids asked. Oh, I got some super cool info, Jin grinned widely. Come on, spill it, the other kid urged. Huh, there's a price, Jin said. What? Come on, man, we're your friends, the first kid protested. Well, this is some really awesome information, and I'm not just handing it over. Oh well, how about we treat you to lunch for a whole week? The second kid offered. What? That's expensive, the first one said. That'll do, after all, if I share this info we'll be famous at school. What, it's that good? The first kid asked. Yeah, so deal, Jin asked. Fine, both his friends agreed. Remember Naruto, the one who skipped 2 grades? Exactly, remember his introduction. He said he was the last of his clan from both his mother's and father's lines. His mom's clan had tons of enemies and his father had a lot too. Well, earlier, while walking to school, I glanced at Hokage Mountain. I stared at the faces, and then it hit me. Naruto looked a lot like the Yondaime. What? His friends exclaimed, jumping up. Come look, Jin motioned, leading his friends to a window. See, he asked, and his friends stared. Wow, you're right, said the first kid. Damn, no wonder he's such a genius. He's the Yondaime's son, the other kid said. Yeah. I remember now. He said he was using his mother's surname to hide from his dad's enemies. But the Uzumakis were also strong and had tons of enemies. Yeah, I remember from history class. Iwa, Kumo, and Kiri had to join forces to destroy Uzushiagakure. They're that powerful. Wow, exactly, Jin said. Now you know why I'm so smug. You're treating me to lunch for a week, got it? Fine. Now we'll be famous tomorrow. We'll befriend Naruto. Once word spreads, we'll be known as the friends of the school genius, Akka the Yondaime's son. Wow, that's awesome. The kids continued eating and planning how to befriend Naruto. Kin, eager to report his findings, told the manager he was taking his break and quickly left the restaurant. Kakashi Hadake, assigned to keep an eye on Kin, shakily followed the spy. But too stunned by the information he'd just overheard, he lost track of his target. He walked to a nearby bar to calm himself. As the other 2 kids finished their meal and left, Jin stayed behind. When he was out of sight, he used the body flicker technique to disappear. At Naruto's hotel, Naruto was discussing weaponry with Rado when one of his new shadows appeared. Ah, Jin. How did it go? The mission was a success, Naruto-sama. Anbu Hatake failed to follow his target. The spy Kin is reporting the news to his Tsuchikage right now. Might Guy, passing by while hand-walking, overheard us and will shout about Naruto-sama being the Yondaime's son tomorrow morning during training. Naruto nodded as the shadow departed. He smirked at Rado and then burst into laughter. His heritage would be revealed sooner than he expected. Well, I'm heading to the academy. Time to erase my records. The next day, Wednesday, Konohagakure northmost area of Konoha, YOSH. Today is a youthful day. The ANBU stationed in the area groaned inwardly as Might Guy started his morning shouting routine. He would shout for 5 minutes about youth before beginning his training. The YONDAIME is smiling upon ME. I dedicate this training to his son, who is exhibiting the most youthful spirit at the academy by being the top student. This caused every ANBU in the area to listen. Guy was either unaware of this or didn't care as he shouted at the top of his lungs. Naruto-san's flames of youth burned so brightly, and for that, I will begin with 500 push UPS. Genma and Rado, who had served the Yondaime, walked by on their patrol. Hearing Guy's proclamations, they exchanged glances and made hand signs to the nearby ANBU, signaling that they would investigate this Naruto person. Academy Uruka Yumino hummed as he walked past a group of students chatting. He smiled, thinking they were talking about homework. He nodded at Mizuki, a fellow teacher, before entering his classroom. He had 5 minutes before class started. As he passed more groups of students, he noticed 2 more were deep in conversation. He paid them no mind and entered his classroom. His first class would be the 6th graders. The students stopped chatting and took their seats as Uruka entered. However, 3 students didn't notice his arrival. Jin and his friends were huddled together, whispering excitedly. Uruka cleared his throat, gaining their attention. Before they moved to their seats, they glanced at an empty one. Uruka followed their gaze and saw it was Naruto's seat. Odd. Naruto's never late, Uruka thought as he checked the attendance. The day passed, and when Uruka walked to his 3rd class, he noted that Naruto still hadn't arrived. Where is he? He missed a quiz today. My hearing is perfectly fine, you know. It's not just our sense of smell that's heightened. Kiba's annoyed shout broke Uruka's concentration. He let the students carry on as it was still 5 minutes before their next class started. Uruka leaned back and listened to Kiba talk with Shino, Choji, and Shikamaru. It's what I overheard from the 6th graders when I passed by them this morning. Kiba, we believe you, but I think it'd make more sense if we looked into why they were talking about the 4th Hokage, Shino suggested. Maybe the 6th graders are reviewing the Hokages, Choji offered. What do you think, Shikamaru? I think I might know why, Shikamaru said lazily. But I agree with Shino. We should gather more info first. Let's just listen to the rumors. If there's something interesting, everyone at the academy will know soon. News travels fast, even among 6th graders. We'll talk more about it on Friday. The bell rang, and Uruka stood up to take attendance. He, too, was curious to hear more about the 4th Hokage, or whatever it had to do with him. The following Friday, not just the ANBU, but a few Jounin had started investigating. The ones with more free time found out from the teachers that a student named Naruto Uzumaki was gaining a reputation for his exceptional grades at the academy. However, without an official reason to investigate him, they couldn't access his files. Only school staff and guardians were allowed to see those. That's when they realized that Naruto Uzumaki's records had gone missing. Thanks to Might Guy's enthusiastic speeches about youth, and this time including Naruto, some civilians got curious. They still referred to him as the demon brat and didn't connect him to the Yondaime Hokage. Some of the parents at the academy, however, were starting to put 2 and 2 together. Academy. As Uruka walked to his first class, he noticed small groups of students whispering excitedly. As he passed, he overheard words like Sun, Naruto Uzumaki, and Yondaime Hokage. He glanced at Mizuki, who was walking in the opposite direction. Mizuki frowned at the students gossiping, looking more uneasy than the day before. Uruka put it aside as he reached his classroom, but this time the students were so absorbed in conversation they didn't notice him. I think it's true, one student said. Of course it is. His introduction said everything, another added. Yeah, and you can see the resemblance, a third student said, pointing at the Hokage mountain visible from the classroom window. The others murmured in agreement. Do you think that's why he's absent? Maybe now the school knows his real lineage, asked one. Could be. Or maybe he's just sick, a coincidence. Uruka decided to end the discussion and started the lesson. By the time Uruka reached his 3rd class, he was curious to hear Shikamaru's thoughts on the gossip. So, how did it go? Choji asked as Shino's bugs returned to him. My bugs tell me most of the students are talking about the same thing, the idea that Naruto Uzumaki is the 4th Hokage's son, Shino said calmly. Ha, I knew it, Kiba boasted. Tusk, so the whole school knows. Or will soon, I knew it, I was right all along, Shikamaru muttered. What are you talking about? Kiba asked, confused. Shikamaru rolled his eyes. That Naruto Uzumaki is the son of the Yondaime Hokage and the late princess of Uzashigakure. Wait, what? Choji nearly shouted. This is so troublesome. But look. Shikamaru stood up and pointed out the window at the Hokage mountain. See the resemblance, Kiba and Choji gawked, while Shino remained stoic. Remember his introduction 2 years ago. He said he took his mother's surname because his father had many enemies. That's why he missed grade 1. If you put that together, you'd realize his mother must have been an Uzumaki. There were only 2 Uzumakis who married men from Konoha, Lady Mito, wife of the Shodaime, and Lady Kushina, wife of the Yondaime. At first, I didn't think much of it because Naruto might have been a survivor from Uzashigakure. But now that he's grown and looks like one of the Hokages, it's obvious who his parents must be. Unbeknownst to Uruka and the students, others were listening in. Genma and Rado exchanged a nod before quietly leaving the room. Pakun, sent by Kakashi to gather intel, sniffed the air and vanished in a puff of smoke. Neji and Sasuke exchanged a glance. Hinata hid her face behind her hair. Mizuki, who had been looking for Uruka, overheard the conversation from outside the classroom. He didn't enter but quickly made his way to the academy's student registry. Uzashigakure meanwhile, Naruto watched Yujito train. He was interrupted when a ghost appeared before him. Naruto, having spent enough time in Whirlpool to know every past Uzumaki, was puzzled by this new ghost of a woman who looked at him with pleading eyes. You're an Uzumaki. But I've never met you before. Who are you? Naruto asked, frowning. I'm Katarina, a survivor, the ghost replied, bowing. I see, why am I seeing you now? Naruto asked. I only just died, she explained. That makes sense, Naruto murmured. So what do you need? I need your help, Naruto-sama, my daughter. She's all alone now that I'm dead. Naruto stood up. Tell me everything. The ghost, Katarina, explained her story. She had been living peacefully with her daughter until bandits attacked their town, burning it to the ground. A Kusagakure Jounin found them, offering shelter in exchange for Katarina working as a healer. But the Jounin exploited her abilities, forcing her to heal endlessly until she died of chakra exhaustion. Naruto nodded solemnly. Lead me to her. Outskirts of Kusagakure, the ghost led him to the forest's edge, where a small shack stood. As Naruto stepped into the shadows, he sensed another presence near Katarina's daughter. That's Zasui, the ghost shrieked. He's come for my daughter. Naruto entered the shadow realm, appearing inside the shack, hidden from view. He saw the girl reading a book and glancing nervously at the door. Katarina had warned him that her daughter had sensory abilities. When she realized it wasn't her mother's chakra outside, Karin quickly hid. Naruto, furious at what had been done to Katarina, decided to act. Creatures of the Grim, heed my call. Ursa Major, come forth and bring your children. Protect Karin Uzumaki and destroy the man named Zasui, Naruto intoned. Karin gasped in horror as she saw the bear-like creatures with red eyes. One of them was as large as the shack itself. As the door to the shack opened, the creatures leaped into action. The largest one pounced on Zasui, pinning him down as the others followed, biting him repeatedly. Despite her fear, Karin peered outside, her eyes wide as she watched the Kyusa Jounin being mauled by the creatures. Naruto stepped forward. Fitting, isn't it? Karin, startled, saw the boy emerge from the shadows. Who are you? She asked, trembling. Naruto smiled gently. I'm Naruto. Later, Naruto shared the truth with Karin about her mother's death and how the Kyusa Jounin had abused her abilities. Afterward, he promised to bring her mother back to life once he mastered his Kuragen. All right then, you'll be staying in Konoha for now. Feel free to do whatever you wish, just stay within the hotel. If you need anything, just call my name. The ghosts stationed here will inform me if you're calling. Karin nodded. Thank you, Naruto, for saving me. You're in Uzumaki, your family. It's what I had to do, Naruto smiled. The girl blushed and thanked him again. What happens to Kusagakure now? They no longer have a healer. Naruto's smile turned into a fierce grin, sending a chill down her spine. For what they did to your mother, they will perish. Every last one of them. 1 week later, Konohagakure, the news of the devastation in Kusagakure spread to all the hidden villages. Whoever attacked the small village left nothing but destruction. No body was left intact. The walls and trees were stained with blood. Disembodied body parts and gore littered the ground, making it worse than the Uchiha clan massacre, as there were no survivors. Whispers circulated that it was the work of demons. They were unaware, but it was true. Naruto, son of the Shinigami, had brought hell to Kusagakure. Demons of various kinds tore through the villagers' flesh. Their souls were trapped in crystals, which would later be used as currency for resurrecting others. However, Konoha wasn't bothered by it. They had bigger issues, one of the biggest being the discovery of the Yondaime Hokage son. It was inevitable. By the end of the week, the news had spread. Minor riots broke out in the village, especially from clans who had heard the rumors. Hiruzen Sarutobi reluctantly admitted that the Yondaime had a son. His name was Naruto Uzumaki. The only ones who knew him were academy students and a few ANBU who tried to protect him when he was younger. The people wanted answers. The academy registry, which only teachers and staff had access to, had been tampered with. The only file the Hokage allowed the public to see was missing. Sarutobi couldn't reveal the truth, that Naruto was the Ninetales Jinchuriki. The only thing the village knew for sure was that his parents were Minato Namikaze and Kushina Uzumaki. Newer files on Naruto had also gone missing. Upon investigation, it was discovered that a teacher named Mizuki had been the last person seen leaving the academy registry room. ANBU suspected him of being a spy, but his true allegiance was unknown. It had been nearly 3 years since the Hokage last saw Naruto. When he finally went to check, he was horrified to learn that Naruto was not at his apartment, now transformed into a hotel. An investigation followed, with Mizuki being suspected of kidnapping Naruto. But after further inquiry, ANBU couldn't find any evidence of abduction. Mizuki was cleared a week later, though the higher-ups still suspected him of being a spy for an unknown village. 2 possibilities emerged. Either Naruto had been kidnapped by someone using an unknown jutsu, or he had left the village on his own. Since Naruto's records only listed him as a civilian, they couldn't officially call him a deserter. Hokage's office. The Hokage sat in his office, gazing into a scrying orb, searching for Naruto. He was interrupted by a messenger rushing in. Hokage-sama, urgent news. Our spies from Iwa report movement. All Chunin and above are undergoing retraining by the Tsuchikage. This order was made 3 days ago. Our market analysts also report that Iwa is stockpiling weapons and has more orders pending. It seems the news has already reached them, the Hokage muttered. But the messenger interrupted. Hokage-sama, it seems Iwa knew about the Yondaime's son long before the news broke. They've suspected for some time, and the latest reports confirm it. Hiruzen's eyes widened. Gather the heads of all departments immediately, as well as the heads of the shinobi clans. And recall Jiraiya. Konohagakure, Kurama Family Hotel Georgia has just arrived, said Rado as he took a seat. He obviously went straight to the hot springs first. You can't count on that pervert. He's been recalled due to the potential war, but what does he do? Go off and indulge in perverted antics. Right you are, Naruto nodded. Say Naruto, isn't he your godfather? Asked Yujito. Supposedly, but he never acted on that duty. He left me in this hateful village. I don't care anymore. His abandonment gave me the freedom to do what I wanted, Naruto replied. Now I want to invest in ships. The land of snow is quite advanced in machinery. In less than 3 years I want a fleet ready. How large is this fleet exactly? Rado asked, doing some mental calculations. About 150 ships, 6 or 12 aircraft carriers, 20 battleships, 50 support ships, and 20 or more airships. That's huge. Can they even build that in 3 years? Rado exclaimed. They can. The land of snow can produce 1 ship a week. Right now, they're building 6 more shipyards. The process can be sped up with more manpower. That's where I come in. Of course, you can make thousands of clones, Rado nodded. What about the money? When I destroyed Kusagakure, I found that the area is rich in minerals. Funny thing is, even the villagers didn't know about it. Right now, the place is in lockdown, guarded by demons. Demons who specialize in earth magic. They're mining day and night. The people are too scared to snoop around, so 6 months is enough to extract all the resources. If I may ask, why do you need this fleet? Most of the major countries are connected by land. Unless, of course, you plan to invade the land of water, Naruto nodded. Whirlpool was well defended, but it was surrounded by enemy territory. I plan to invade the east. I want to rebuild Uzashigagakure in the land of moon. It's isolated, rich, and has an ideal geography. Kirigakure will serve as a buffer zone, or more accurately, a war zone. I want the world to think that Uzashigagakure has been rebuilt in the land of water, but in reality, it'll be in the land of moon. The land of swamps and demons is barely governed. There's a priestess and her followers protecting it from demons, not shinobi. Why other nations haven't tried to occupy it, I don't care. But I want those lands. Time skip, 2 years later Konoha still had no leads on Naruto's whereabouts. However, this didn't stop Iwagakure from engaging in a cold war with the Leaf. Only Hiruzen's swift response to the Tsuchikige's actions prevented it from escalating into a full-scale war. Without Danzo to undermine his authority, Hiruzen was able to rally every capable shinobi in the village, including former members of Root. The village's defenses were bolstered, and patrols doubled. Root operatives were sent to the borders, where their training made them ruthless against Iwa spies. While tensions with Iwa simmered, Konoha's economy boomed. New contracts and clients flooded the village. However, even Shikaku Nara, the village's war analyst, didn't predict the next surprise, a potential clash with Sunagakure. Academy Team 7 will be Hyuga Neji, Higurashi Tenten, and Uchiha Sasuke. Your Jounin sensei will be Hadake Kakashi, Uruka announced. Sasuke shot a glance at Neji, who gave a subtle nod. Team 8 will be Hyuga Hinata, Fujino Natsuki, and Haruno Sakura. Your Jounin sensei is Yuhei Kurenai. Hinata had once been top of her class, but with Naruto's disappearance, she had fallen behind, now second after Tenten. Natsuki ranked somewhere in the middle, while Sakura, loyal to Sasuke, was near the bottom. Team 9 will consist of Yamanaka Ino, Nara Shikamaru, and Akimichi Choji. Their sensei will be Saru Tobai Asuma. Team 10 will be Lee Rock, Inuzuka Kiba, and Aburame Shino. Their sensei will be Might Guy. Time skip, 6 months Hawkage Tower, Hawkage-sama. I believe my team is now ready for a C-rank mission, Kakashi announced as his genins approached the mission desk. Very well, send in Tazuna-san, the Hawkage instructed. A disheveled old man stepped in and bowed. Tazuna-san, Team 7 will escort you back to the Wave Country. What? A Cyclops, a lesbian, a trans woman, and a duck butt are my escorts. While Kakashi struggled to keep Tenten from attacking their client, Team 8 entered. Mission complete, Hawkage-sama. Natsuki led the way, followed by Hinata, Sakura, and Kurenai. Neji, recalling Naruto's words from years ago, stepped forward. Excuse me, Hawkage-sama, but I believe my team isn't ready for a C-rank mission. Kakashi-sensei hasn't taught us anything except teamwork, which is still a work in progress. I would also like to point out that Uchiha was dead last. Duckbutt here might drag us down and jeopardize the mission. Sasuke immediately reacted, visibly insulted. Unbeknownst to them, someone else had been warned about the situation and already knew how to handle it. Excuse me, Hawkage-sama. If Team 7 isn't prepared for the C-rank mission you're proposing, I believe Team 8 would be a better fit. The room fell silent as everyone stared at Natsuki, reactions ranging from confusion to surprise. The rest of Team 8 exchanged glances, shocked by Natsuki's bold suggestion. Neji and Sasuke remained stoic, while Kakashi and Tenten frowned. The Hokage, however, looked mildly amused. Sakura was the first to recover, mistakenly thinking Sasuke was looking at her. Eager to impress him, she quickly voiced her support for Natsuki's suggestion. Hinata, who hadn't given up on Naruto, took this opportunity to look for him, agreeing as well. What do you think, Kurenai?" the Hokage asked. Hi, I believe my team is ready for this C-rank mission, Hokage-sama, Kurenai responded confidently. Well, Kakashi, it looks like you'll be postponing your C-rank missions for now. It's time to focus on teamwork for your genin. The Hokage's eyes smile only seemed to irritate Kakashi further. Understood, Hokage-sama. I'd like to request 2 additional D-rank missions for today. As Team 8 made their introductions with their client, Team 7 received 2 scrolls from the Hokage. Prepare for a 5-day journey. We'll meet at the gates in 2 hours, Kurenai instructed her team. Land of Waves, while things proceeded normally in Konoha, the situation in the Land of Waves was far different. The usually calm waters had been disturbed by the arrival of a dozen old-looking ships, encircling a third of the island's coastline. Gadu, who had significant control over the region, quickly ordered his army of mercenaries to prepare for the invaders. The locals, upon seeing the ships, felt a sense of hope. Flying from the mast of the ships was a flag long believed to be forgotten. For the first time in 30 years, the swirl within a circle was once again visible in the skies. The people began speculating whether these were survivors who had been in hiding or if they were a new force, but they were certain the Uzumaki clan had returned to the borders of Wave. Gadu, with little knowledge of shinobi, had no idea that this day would mark his end. Confident in his mercenaries, including the likes of Mamachi Zabuza, he believed he could handle anything. However, he had no idea the force he was facing required the combined might of 3 great nations to defeat. As the ships sounded their horns, Gadu ordered his men to ready their arrows and other projectiles. However, the first sign that something was wrong came when a single figure leaped off the lead ship and approached the shore. His battle suit only boosted the morale of the defenders, but it wasn't long before Gadu began to laugh when he saw the lone figure was just a young boy. "Kill him," Gadu ordered, dismissing the invader. Naruto, whose hair now reached past his shoulders, grinned wickedly as the projectiles and jutsu aimed at him came close. He recognized the mercenaries as a mix of Iwa rogue nin, hired hands, and rogue samurai, all brought together under Gadu's command. Naruto was aware that the Iwa rogue nin weren't just missing nin. They had been sent by the Tsuchikage to approach the Land of Fire and keep an eye on Konoha, ready to strike when ordered. It's time to mess with them, Naruto thought as he pulled a tri-pronged kunai from his pocket and hurled it towards the enemy. Kunai Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. The mercenaries easily deflected the projectiles, oblivious to the kunai's unique appearance. They only began to realize something was wrong when Naruto gave a menacing smile and shouted his next move. Hurashin no Jutsu. One by one, the mercenaries fell as flashes of red appeared throughout their ranks. The massacre continued for a full minute before it stopped. Those who survived found themselves unable to move. They quickly realized they had been trapped in seals, and their focus had shifted so much to Naruto that they hadn't noticed the dozen ships that had come with him. The locals who had barricaded themselves inside their homes peeked out cautiously after the sounds of battle faded. What they saw was Gadu and his men, immobilized and surrounded by people with red hair. The Uzumaki had returned. Naruto looked on in satisfaction as the townspeople unleashed their anger on the remaining thugs, taking out their frustrations on the criminals. He watched as one boy, Inari, showed surprising creativity in punishing Gadu, shocking Naruto, who had been told that Inari was merely a whiny brat. The battle hadn't lasted long, and while Naruto had the extra chakra from the Kyuubi, it still took a toll on him. He had to maintain the illusion on the warships, making them appear much older than they were. He also used special clones for the ghosts to possess, making the invasion feel more authentic. As the celebration wound down, Naruto was about to address the crowd when a raven landed on his shoulder and cawed loudly. Naruto muttered as he retrieved a tiny scroll tied to the bird's leg. "We've got the mission, heading to Wave now." Naruto smiled to himself before burning the scroll. The raven cawed and flew off as he made his way back to the center of the town. It was time to issue orders. One day later, Iwagakure borders the guards on morning patrol immediately noticed a lone figure approaching the gates. As he drew closer, the guards tensed, recognizing him as a missing nin. They were seconds from taking action when a senior jounin stopped them. The missing nin fell to one knee, gasping for breath. Son of Yondaime, Hurei-shin. Uzumaki clan, dozen warships, need to retreat, he said before collapsing. Only then did the guards notice his wounds and bloodied clothes. Sir, one of the Chunin guards asked. What should we do? He's clearly delirious. No, he's not, the Jounin replied. Tsuchikage-sama sent them to Wave, get him to the hospital. I'll report this immediately. Konohagakure Hokage's office, urgent news, Hokage-sama. A Hyuga Jounin entered the room, interrupting the Hokage and Kakashi's conversation. Hiruzen nodded. What is it? Our scouts report a medium-scale battle at Wave. There are traces of earth jutsu and multiple Fuin jutsu. Seals, you say? The Hokage's brow furrowed in thought. We also found this. The Jounin placed a small bundle on the Hokage's desk, causing both the Hokage and Kakashi to freeze in shock. That's Uzumaki ruins shit. I can't believe I forgot it, Naruto muttered, annoyed with himself. I've been too confident. You're right, mistakes like this could be disastrous, Kurama warned. I won't let it happen again. It's a good thing I sealed the townspeople's minds. Even the best Yamanaka can't break through those barriers. Konohagakure Hokage's office, Kakashi, was still stunned by the sight of the tri-pronged kunai lying innocently on the Sandaime's desk, the very same weapon used by his late sensei. The Hokage sighed, breaking the silence. Thank you for this, you're dismissed. As the Jounin left the room, the Hokage turned to Kakashi. I'm sending you and 4 ANBU squads to Wave. Investigate the situation. If necessary, ask the townspeople, but don't force them to speak if they don't want to. Kakashi hesitated. But Kurenai and her team are already on their way. If Wave is under attack, the enemies may still be nearby. Should we recall them? What about the client? I have a feeling Tazuna may not have been entirely truthful with us. I'll need to look into him further. I suspect he's been holding back information. We'll send Teams 7, 9, and 10 on a joint mission. Prevent Team 8 from reaching Wave and bring back Tazuna for questioning. If he resists, use force. Kakashi nodded, understanding. Understood, Hokage-sama. I'll brief Asuma and Guy right away. Iwagakure Hospital, how is he? Onoki asked the doctor. The patient is stable. His wounds have been treated, but he's exhausted. It looks like whatever he encountered scared him senseless. I see, Onoki nodded. What do we do now? The man mentioned the son of Yondaime and Hurei-shin, the Jounin reported. Onoki frowned. We'll deal with the Uzumaki and their fleet later. For now, gather more intel. We'll make our move when the time is right. We'll need to pull back our forces. Get in touch with the group that was assigned as covert agents earlier today. Once you've done that, meet me in my office. I've got a task for you. In the forests of the Fire Country, Kurenai walked behind the client while her students formed a triangular formation ahead of her. She silently observed them, her mind working over their progress when something unusual caught her eye. She was certain it hadn't rained in days, yet there was a puddle of water on the ground. How pitiful. To use such an elementary genjutsu against my team, and in this clear weather no less, Kurenai mused internally. It's time to see how these three perform. She glanced at Natsuki and Hinata, who had already noticed something was off. Her gaze shifted to the third student, who remained oblivious to the situation. Kurenai suppressed a sigh as she performed a substitution technique, just as their would-be ambushers, hiding near the puddle, launched their surprise attack. She chose to step back and observe how her students handled themselves. To her surprise, Sakura moved instinctively to protect the client despite the shock of seeing her teacher fall. Natsuki and Hinata, however, made quick work of their attackers. Kurenai emerged from her hiding spot, nodding approvingly at her students before moving to secure their captives. Suddenly, the area was shrouded in mist, so dense that she couldn't see or hear properly. She felt 2 heavy thuds on the ground and heard Natsuki shout in frustration, followed by an eerie silence. After a moment, the mist began to lift, and Kurenai could make out 2 forms on the ground. When the fog finally cleared, a chill ran down her spine. There was Sakura's upper body, separated from her lower half, and their client, Tazuna, with a senbon lodged in his neck, unconscious. Natsuki and Hinata were nowhere to be seen. Kurenai stood frozen, her mind racing in disbelief, until she detected familiar chakra signatures approaching from the same direction as the attackers. A figure with silver hair led a group, and she recognized him instantly. Fire Wave Border Naruto stood still, his senses focused on the 4 distinct life forces ahead. His ability to detect chakra had grown stronger over time, and as Zabuza and his companion entered his range, Naruto quickly formed hand seals. The seals he had set earlier activated, immobilizing the 2 missing nin, rendering them helpless as their bodies refused to obey their commands. During his battle against Gadu's forces, Naruto had unlocked the fourth level of his Kyuureigen. Still mastering it, the revived dead were only functional for a short time, about 30 minutes. He needed to time everything precisely. As soon as Team 8 noticed the genjutsu, Naruto completed the ritual to bring Zabuza and Haku back to life. Haku had been instructed to paralyze Tazuna with a senbon and capture Natsuki, all while making it appear he was only after the bridge builder. Zabuza's task was to abduct Hinata and eliminate one of the remaining Team 8 members, again making it look like he was targeting Tazuna. Without wasting time, Naruto used his clones to collect Natsuki and Hinata. He then sealed both Zabuza and Haku's forms, slapped identical seals on their foreheads, and summoned Kagutsuchi. The weapon transformed into a scythe, and Naruto swiftly decapitated the two immobilized missing nin. He then sealed Zabuza's great cleaver into a scroll. Naruto unleashed a third chakra, enveloping the area in darkness before Shadow traveling to the ruins of Uzushiagakure. Moments later, Kakashi, his Ninken, and 4 ANBU squads arrived to investigate the darkened area. The ANBU formed a perimeter while the Ninken began sniffing around. Kakashi, sensing something was off, asked, "Pakun, what's going on?" "Darkness, Kakashi, there's something unsettling in the air," Pakun responded. "Darkness," Kakashi murmured. "I'll think about it later." "Did you find any traces of whoever killed these two?" Kakashi asked. "They're all over, Kakashi." "What do you mean by that?" he asked, confused. "The trail is everywhere," Pakun clarified. "There could have been one person or there could have been many. Whatever jutsu they used to escape has thrown off our noses." Kakashi frowned. "Try focusing on other sense. Maybe we're missing something." After a moment, the Ninken's tails wagged excitedly. "We found something." "What did you discover?" Kakashi pressed. "There are too many scents, but there are 3 that I recognize." "Whose are they?" "One is Naruto's." "Naruto?" "Yes." "The other 2 belong to Kurenai's missing students." Kakashi gritted his teeth. "Damn it." Frustrated, he turned to the ANBU. "Are the bodies secured?" "Yes, sir, but we can't find Mamacha's sword," one of the ANBU members reported. "Forget the sword. Whoever did this must have taken it. We need to move." The small town was swarming with shinobi, yet the townspeople seemed unfazed by the activity. When asked about the mysterious shinobi, they all gave the same answer. They had been liberated from a criminal organization by some unknown shinobi, but they refused to reveal any further details. Reconstruction efforts continued. When more shinobi from Konoha arrived, they received the same response and eventually left, as the other shinobi did the same. "Iwagakure, hey, old man. Your lightning buddy and his entourage are approaching the gate." Kuretsuchi interrupted her grandfather's musings. "My lightning buddy," Onoki frowned. "The Reikage, of course," Kuretsuchi teased. Onoki blinked. "What? Why wasn't I told about his arrival?" "Well, you're old. Maybe you've forgotten about the scroll I gave you last time," Kuretsuchi said with a smirk. Onoki cursed as he quickly made his way to the gates, floating out of the tower. The Reikage greeted him with a loud laugh. "Ha, you're looking sour. Did you forget I was coming?" "Getting old? Yes, I must have forgotten," Onoki replied, his eyes twitching. "Let's talk in my office." "No need," the Reikage waved off. "I came to tell you we're searching for the Nibai. My men will be scouring your country." "That's all?" Onoki raised an eyebrow. "Looking for the Nibai without even asking me," the Reikage chuckled. "You don't need my permission, we're allies after all." Onoki growled, his frustration building. "I can't allow this. My country is at war with Konoha, go bother Kirigakure instead." The Reikage's expression darkened, but he simply nodded. "Very well, we'll hold off for now, but don't think I've forgotten this." Onoki turned and floated back to his tower, not even waiting for the Reikage to leave. "Sir, what now?" Darui asked once they were out of earshot. "We wait," the Reikage replied grimly. Konohagakure interrogation room. Tazuna sat in a cold chair, looking defeated. He had tried to manipulate the leaf nin earlier, but stopped when he remembered the girl who had died protecting him. Guilt weighed heavily on him, and he cooperated fully during the interrogation. Inoichi and Ibiki didn't need to threaten him, their silent presence was enough. However, Inoichi still had to delve deeper into Tazuna's mind to get the full story. Inoichi soon found what he was searching for. He watched as the events unfolded. Hinata and Natsuki fighting off the demon brothers, while Sakura moved to shield the client. It didn't take long for him to realize that the mist appeared right after the Genins defeated the 2 Nukenin. The mist thickened around Kurenai, isolating her from the others. As Kurenai struggled to see, one of the attackers emerged and swiftly killed Sakura. Natsuki's cry of shock filled the air, while Hinata was left helpless in the confusion. Zabuza smirked at the sight of Hinata. A Hyuga. Today's my lucky day. He quickly captured her, preparing to leave with his prize. Inoichi winced as he watched the scene unfold. Zabuza's companion knocked out Natsuki as she tried to intervene. This girl is impressive. Forget the drunk, we'll take this one instead. But Zabuza-sama, his companion hesitated, his voice betraying his youth. What about Tazuna? Our mission is to eliminate the old man, yes. He'll be left behind, and soon enough the leaf will target him for the other girl's death. Inoichi closed his eyes, retreating from the old man's mind. At that moment, another Yamanaka from a different team entered. Excuse me, Hokage-sama, I have urgent news. We managed to breach the minds of the corpses but found nothing. Their memories have been erased. Upon further examination, we detected no genjutsu or ninjutsu used against them, leading us to conclude that fuinjutsu must be involved. Hiruzen narrowed his gaze. Fuinjutsu, Jirya is the only one I know who could use a seal capable of erasing memories, though it only affects fragments. He cannot fully wipe them out. This connects back to the reports on the battle. Multiple traces of fuinjutsu were found. Could these be related to the Uzumakis? If there was a medium-scale battle, there must have been at least 30 of them. Some of them may have survived. But why keep their existence hidden, even from Konoha? Uzushiogakure ruins, Uzukage Tower. Natsuki groaned as consciousness slowly returned. She immediately recognized her surroundings. Beside her, Hinata was stirring, about to wake up. With quick hands, Natsuki formed seals and gently tapped Hinata's forehead, casting a sleeping jutsu to keep her from waking prematurely. As she stood, the sound of footsteps caught her attention. Natsuki kneeled, the door sliding open to reveal Naruto. You did well, here are the documents for your next task. Uzushiogakure ruins, Uzukage Tower. Natsuki groggily awoke, feeling someone shaking her. Natsuki, a frantic voice hissed. Damn it, wake up, she frowned, finally sitting up. Her vision was blurry as she spotted Hinata. Hinata, what? No time, they're downstairs talking. We need to get out of here. With a grunt, Natsuki stood. Wait, maybe we should check things out a bit first. These walls aren't sealed right. Can you use your Byakugan to see through them? Hinata hesitated but nodded, activating her Byakugan. We're on the 5th floor of a tower. 4 people are in what looks like a basement, but something's off. I can't see through them properly. Only 4? Natsuki asked. Hinata frowned. Only 4? What about their chakra? How strong are they? There's almost nothing. I don't think they're shinobi, they must be samurai. Or maybe whatever's distorting my vision is blocking their chakra too. Hinata bit her lip. That's possible. Then let's search a few rooms. We might find something useful before we head back to the village. Without waiting for a response, Natsuki left the room and began checking the 3 other rooms on the floor. Meanwhile, Hinata kept her Byakugan active, scanning for traps. As they reached the 3rd floor, Natsuki sighed in relief. Finally, something. It looks like an office, Hinata said, giving the all-clear as she entered the lone room. Natsuki's breath caught as she took in the scene. The office had the same setup as the Hokage office, but with broken windows, a battered desk, and a flag above it, torn and faded. The flag bore a red swirl inside a circle. Kami-sama, Hinata gasped, glancing outside. She had initially thought they were in a tower atop an abandoned mine. Now that her Byakugan was deactivated, she saw the surrounding landscape, a ruin of what once was a small village. We're in Uzushiogakure, Natsuki exclaimed. Hinata nodded, the sadness evident in her eyes. She had studied the history of the extinct villages and clans, but seeing Uzushiogakure in ruins was a different experience entirely. She bowed her head briefly, offering a prayer for the villagers who had perished here. As she did, she noticed a folder on the ground, one she hadn't seen before. Before she could pick it up, Natsuki grabbed it first. It's sealed with the Hokage mark, Natsuki murmured. Hinata took the folder from her and opened it. What's this? SSS class secret. How did it end up here? Must be a copy, Natsuki suggested. Check the dates. I'll see if there's anything else useful in this room. Hinata began going through the folder's contents, her expression shifting from curiosity to shock. Before she could speak, a voice interrupted them. You shouldn't be here. The figure stood in the doorway, half hidden in shadows. Hinata and Natsuki immediately went on guard. Relax. If I wanted to kill you, I would have done so already. You should be thankful. I saved you from those rogue Kirinin. The figure stepped into the room, and Hinata's eyes immediately locked on the old-fashioned armor he wore. The same kind that Uzashionin had worn before the Second Ninja War. She didn't need to wonder who this was, he was clearly one of them. Naruto, Hinata breathed, her hand holding up the folder. How did you get this? Is it real? Wait, Naruto. Natsuki, too, stared at him. You look like the Yondaime-sama, you're his son. Naruto raised an eyebrow. Oh, so you know about my heritage. Of course, everyone knows. Hinata said, her voice steady despite the shock. The village has been looking for you. Where have you been all these years? Naruto's expression hardened. They only care about the son of the Yondaime Hokage, not about Uzumaki Naruto, the one they despised. If they knew I was the Kyubai's vessel, they'd never have looked at me the same way. But you're not the Kyubai, you're just the host, Natsuki said, confusing Hinata. Judging by your faces, your teammate knows about my Jinchuriki status. Let her explain, Hinata, Naruto said, turning to leave. Naruto, wait, Hinata cried, grabbing his arm. Don't leave. Please come back to the village with us. Why should I? They were part of the reason my clan was wiped out, Naruto said, pointing at the folder Hinata still held. She released his arm, staring at the folder in her hands. Your lunch will be served in 1 hour. Afterward, you can return to your village, Naruto added before leaving the office. 1 week later, Konohagakure Hokage's office inside, Hiruzen, Jiraiya, and Shikaku Nara were in a heated discussion, the office sealed to maintain privacy. According to our investigation in Wave, Gado's mercenary army was primarily made up of rogue nin from Iwa. It doesn't add up, Jiraiya said. Shikaku added, if Gado really hired Nuke Nin, there should have been far more from Kirigakure. The fact that they came mostly from Iwa suggests something else. Jiraiya handed a bingo book to Shikaku. Iwa's bingo book shows that 4 new Nuke Nin were added every week. This means they were likely deployed to Wave under false pretenses. Shikaku added, the Tsuchikage overlooked the deployment plan. They sent a squad out weekly, but the intel on these Nuke Nin is sparse with no bounties listed. Hiruzen's face darkened. Given the circumstances, their objective was clear. An invasion, Shikaku confirmed. Hiruzen nodded grimly. Yes, they were preparing for an invasion, and it would have caught us off guard if Gado hadn't been involved. We wouldn't have known about it without this situation in Wave. I sent a team to inspect the corpses. The numbers we found didn't match the Wave residents' claims. Using the Aburame's Kikeichu bugs, we traced the missing bodies back to Iwagakure, Jiraiya continued. I'll have my spies check on funeral ceremonies there. We're certain Iwa's invasion was thwarted, but more intel wouldn't hurt, Jiraiya added. Hiruzen nodded in agreement. Let's make sure we have everything documented properly. Let's consider taking credit for the defeat of Iwa, Shikaku suggested. It could be an advantage, Jiraiya agreed. It's not a bad idea. But let's plan it carefully. Hiruzen thought for a moment. We'll need to think it through, no hasty decisions. Uzumaki 1 week ago Naruto and the 2 Konoha Kunoichi had just finished their meal. Kasumi and other spirits lingered around them, though only Naruto could see them. Naruto, Hinata hesitated, placing her utensils down. Natsuki and Naruto both looked at her. Hinata's voice was low but firm. I don't want to go back to Konoha, let me join you. Natsuki looked at her teammate, then at Naruto, waiting for his response. Why? Naruto asked calmly. Hinata took a deep breath. Natsuki told me about Jinchuriki, about the Kyuubi, and the events that happened 12 years ago. I also saw what was in that folder. Her voice faltered for a moment. When we were in the academy, I used to follow you. Oh, Naruto raised an eyebrow, amused. He was already aware of what she was about to say. Hinata's face flushed, and she lowered her gaze to her plate. Yes. I used to wonder why the villagers looked at you with such hatred, and sometimes fear, but now I understand. That still doesn't answer my question though, Naruto remarked, his tone teasing. Hinata hesitated. Let me ask you something else then, do you want to assist me? Hinata looked up at him, her expression thoughtful. She paused, then met his gaze directly and nodded. Yes, Naruto straightened. Then it would be better if you returned to Konoha, wouldn't it? You can help by sending me valuable intel from time to time. He stood tall, arms crossed. Plus, your teammates would raise suspicions if you came back by yourself. Or maybe not. He casually reached for a kunai. Hinata's eyes widened, and Natsuki raised her hands in surrender. Hold on, there's no need for that. I swear, I won't tell anyone about Uzushio or that file. I owe you for saving us from those rogue Kirin. I'm repaying that by staying silent. She glanced at her teammate, and I won't tell them about Hinata's decision to stay here. Naruto gave her a cold look. Is that so? He asked before slipping the kunai back into its sheath. Very well then. However, certain precautions are necessary, he continued, a serious edge in his voice. You'll tell them who rescued you, but only that. Natsuki nodded rapidly, still visibly shaken. Hinata understood the weight of the situation. After all, Naruto had wiped out those rogue ninjas without breaking a sweat. She and her teammate would have no chance against him. I suppose you can stay for a week. After that, you'll have to return, Naruto added. Thank you, both Hinata and Natsuki replied in unison. Present time, Hinata and Natsuki have safely reached the outer perimeter of Konoha. They should be at the gates by now, considering their pace, Sai said, kneeling before his leader. Good, Naruto replied. Let the shadows at Kiri know it's time. Understood. What's the next step? In 3 months, you will be donning the Konoha ANBU uniform. Your mission is to capture Mei Terumi and the members of Kirigakure's council. They'll be holding a meeting about the upcoming Chunin exams. The rest of the village will remain unaware of our plans. There will be no fatalities, just incapacitate the guards protecting the meeting room. Naruto's gaze turned cold as he continued. Once that's done, I'll handle the rest. The guards will forget they were knocked out, but the council members will be placed under controlling seals. They'll carry out actions they don't desire, but will remember everything. They will believe Konoha is forcing them to make replacements from the leaf. Eventually, they'll break free from the seals, notify their villagers discreetly, and swear revenge before fleeing. The land of water will be ours. Naruto's eyes darkened with resolve. This is crucial to the rebirth of Uzashigakure. I want no mistakes. Plan accordingly. It will be done, Naruto-sama, Sai affirmed, his voice unwavering. Konohagakure Jiraiya wasted no time heading straight for the hot springs, while Shikaku leisurely strolled out of the office. The Hokage, after removing the extra privacy seals, prepared to light his pipe, relieved to have a brief moment of peace. Just as he was about to enjoy his smoke, a messenger burst into the room. Hokage-sama, Hiruzen winced at the urgent tone. He already sensed bad news. Pinching the bridge of his nose, he exhaled a sigh. What is it? 2 individuals are claiming to be Hyuga Hinata and Fujino Natsuki. They're being held in the interrogation cells. In the interrogation cells, Hiruzen's voice boomed. Who thought it was a good idea to throw them in there? The Hokage stormed out of the room, fuming. The messenger, stunned, remained frozen in place. Civilians and shinobi alike quickly moved out of the Hokage's way as he marched towards the T&I building, muttering angrily to himself. If this gets out, it'll cause a massive political scandal. The fools! Who thought it was wise to lock the Hyuga heiress in there, even if she was an imposter? Scene break Uzashigakure ruins. As soon as the Hokage's meeting with Jiraiya and Shikaku ended, the spy who had been observing the scene rushed to report to Naruto, who was busy training with Karin. What's your plan now? Karin asked, curious as Naruto explained the situation. Naruto grinned. Let them take the credit. I'll tell the people of Wave not to confirm or deny Konoha's claims. But won't it make the leaf look too powerful? Exactly, Naruto said with a sly smile. That's the plan, Karin raised an eyebrow. I still don't understand. The other villages, especially Iwa and Kumo, will try to keep up with Konoha's display of strength. Once they gather enough power to strike at Konoha, it'll be overkill. Karin nodded, finally understanding. She refocused on her training, making chakra chains erupt from her body, piercing through several rocks. Meanwhile, Naruto stood lost in thought. He wanted to participate in the Chunin exams to bait Iwa into joining the event, despite their recent losses. His only problem was the lack of a third team member and an acting sensei. Yujito was already occupied with a task in the land of Earth, and bringing in someone from his shadows in Kiri or Konoha would be too risky. Suddenly, dark chains erupted from his body, impaling a rock near Karin's targets. The chains then coiled around the debris and crushed it into dust. Now that you've got the speed down, Naruto said, nodding at the rocks with multiple holes in them, you need to work on strength. After a month, I'll have you spar with Yujito in her tailed beast form. Yujito, who had been training nearby, immediately appeared beside Karin in a burst of blue flames. You called for me, Naruto smirked. I told Karin to focus on her chain's strength. In a month, you'll fight her in your tailed beast form. Karin looked panicked. But, Naruto cut her off. Karin, you'll be tasked with capturing Shukaku. If you can hold your ground against Matatabi, you'll have no problem with the Tanuki. The host's a bit unstable, so be ready. Do you think I can do it? Karin asked softly, her head down. Naruto gently lifted her chin, looking her in the eye. You're in Uzumaki, aren't you? You can do it. He gave her a rare, kind smile. Karin's face flushed. Why yes, of course, she stammered. Naruto ignored the glare Yujito shot at Karin. Good, I'm heading out. Where are you going? Looking for more Uzumakis. We can't enter the Chunin exams with only 3 members. Why not include me? Yujito huffed, crossing her arms. Naruto sighed. I've already told you, Yujito, you have another mission in Earth Country. Yujito pouted and then glanced at Karin with a jealous look. Naruto rolled his eyes, then disappeared into a shadow, reappearing somewhere else. I can sense a fight brewing between them, Kurama remarked, watching the scene unfold. Yujito's like a protective mother, and Karin's too shy to admit her feelings. It'll be amusing to watch. Kurama, I'm way too young for all of this, Naruto replied, sighing as he extended his senses. The fox scoffed. You're reviving the Uzumaki clan. Eventually, you'll have to start your own family. Naruto groaned, but soon his senses locked onto something. Found one, a female. Her life force is weak but fluctuating. Could be old or she has a unique ability. He scanned the mountain opposite him, spotting a small town at the base. Naruto, Kurama's voice rose with urgency. There's someone else nearby, a Jinchuriki containing my chakra. I want it back, Naruto raised an eyebrow. How is that even possible? Look, up there, kill her and I want my chakra back, the Kyuubi growled. Naruto's gaze shifted to the mountain, his eyes narrowing as he saw a temple. He exhaled before beginning his hike. The other Uzumaki would have to wait. This Jinchuriki would be dealt with first. Scene break back at Konoha. The Hokage had ordered the immediate release of Hyuga Hinata as soon as he arrived at the building. Upon asking her to activate her Byakugan, he confirmed the truth of her claims. Natsuki, on the other hand, was taken to Inoichi for a mind scan. How did it go? The Hokage inquired as the Yamanaka withdrew his hand from the girl's head. She's exactly who she claims to be, Inoichi replied. During the ambush, I discovered that Natsuki substituted herself. She wasn't the intended target, but rather the bridge builder. Hiruzen's thoughts raced. Perhaps I could leverage Tazuna and force him to reveal that Konoha was responsible for saving the people of Wave. What else did you find? The attackers were Zabuza Mamachi and an unknown accomplice. Afterward, she woke up in a cabin. The Hyuga heiress was with her, and they weren't restrained. When they left, they found themselves aboard a warship. A warship? Yes, Hokage-sama. It looked old, like the ships used before the Second Shinobi War. There were very few people aboard. One of them, a man named Naruto Uzumaki, told the girls that he was the one who saved them from the rogue nin. The Hokage's breath hitched. Could it have been him? He had yellow-orange hair that reached his shoulders, blue eyes, and whisker marks. His features were a mix of Yondaime-sama and Kushina Uzumaki. His hair appearing darker as it grew could be linked to his Uzumaki heritage becoming more prominent with age. I'm convinced it was him, Naruto Uzumaki, or perhaps Naruto Namikaze. Hiruzen fell silent, his mind working through the possibilities. After a long pause, he asked, The shippy, there's no way he could have been alone. Did you recognize anyone else? In the girl's memories, I counted 4 other figures. They wore old-fashioned battle armor. Hinata was always with her, and they didn't explore much of the ship, so there could have been more. What's curious is that they all had red hair. I have a theory, but I'm not certain they're supposed to be dead. It's them. There were survivors, and they found Naruto, Hiruzen muttered to himself. Inoichi raised an eyebrow. Who do you think they were? I'll need to confer with Jiraiya and Shikaku again on this, the Hokage sighed. The Uzumaki. Scene break. Naruto waited until dusk to make his move. He had spent the afternoon observing the boy, Sora, who always kept his arms hidden. Kurama quickly sensed that the boy's chakra was sealed in his right arm, which puzzled Naruto, as it was typically contained within a person's stomach. Naruto decided to offer the boy a chance. If he cooperated and allowed Naruto to extract the Kyuubi chakra from his arm, he would live. Despite being a fake Jinchuriki with only a portion of the fox's chakra, Naruto couldn't help but feel some sympathy. He saw how the monks treated him, isolated and distant, much like how he had been in Konoha. Ironically, Naruto had discovered that the fire temple was where Sora resided. He moved quietly as the moonlight bathed the land. It was fortunate Sora trained alone. It was time to act, but Naruto would offer only one chance. He held the Uzumaki clan dear, especially those who had shown him kindness. As Naruto was about to make his presence known, a monk appeared in front of him. You've finally shown yourself, the monk said. I've been waiting. Your dark aura gave you away, though I couldn't pinpoint your exact position. Those who can hide like that must be very strong. Step aside, monk, Naruto growled, frustrated at being detected. I have no business with you. I am Kairaku, the head of the fire temple. I know who you are. You have something of mine, and I came to take it back. Step aside, Naruto demanded, irritation creeping into his voice. Kairaku glanced at Sora, who was still unaware, and assumed a combat stance. I cannot allow you to do that. If you truly want to die, I'll grant your wish. Naruto stepped back into the shadows and vanished. The moonlight dimmed. Shadows stretched across the area, and tendrils of darkness surged toward the monk. Kairaku, however, radiated golden light, summoning an avatar with multiple arms to effortlessly swat away Naruto's attacks. "It was foolish of you to come here," Kairaku sneered. "We monks are blessed with light, and you, of the dark, shall be defeated." Naruto ignored the taunts and remained hidden in the shadows. The sounds of their battle had not gone unnoticed. Sora now realized something was wrong, and was alert to the presence of both the monk and the mysterious enemy. "Naruto, you can't win against him now. You've beaten Jounin-level shinobi in the past because of surprise, but this time you have none. Don't use tailed beast mode either. With another container of the fox's chakra here, it could have unexpected effects. Just grab the boy and get out," Kurama advised. "Damn it," Naruto muttered, before launching several chakra chains. The monk seemed momentarily surprised, recognizing the Uzumaki bloodline technique. Naruto seized the opportunity, shadow traveling and reappearing behind Sora, grabbing him. They reappeared in a cave not far from the mountain, and Naruto tossed the struggling boy onto the ground. "Who the hell are you? Where am I?" Sora demanded. "You know, if your mother hadn't become the Shinigami's host and if I hadn't known her, you'd probably end up just like him, loud, idiotic, maybe even trying to become Hawkeye," Kurama commented, amused. "I'm glad that didn't happen," Naruto muttered. "I couldn't stand being the leader of a village that hated my existence." "Now, listen up," Naruto began. "I've got a proposal for you." Sora shot him a glare but remained silent. "Good, you're listening," Naruto said. "You've got a demon essence sealed in your right arm." He pointed at the arm. "Give me permission to remove it and I'll return you to the temple. The monks hate you, don't they? Once I take that chakra out, you'll be accepted." "What do you think?" Sora shouted angrily. "No, how do I know I can trust you? You fought with Kairaku and kidnapped me," Naruto scoffed. "Well, newsflash, Sora. You don't have a choice. I will extract it from you whether you like it or not. I was just offering you a chance because I felt a little pity for you." In reality, Naruto intended to spare the boy, but his encounter with Kairaku had pushed him over the edge. Without waiting for a response, he summoned his bound weapon, Kagetsuchi, a dagger. With a swift motion, he drove the blade into Sora's heart. He then formed hand seals and slightly opened the seal on his own stomach, absorbing the malevolent chakra from Sora's arm. Naruto stared coldly as Sora's lifeless body crumpled to the floor. He quickly picked up the body, and Shadow traveled back to the Fire Temple, appearing at the entrance. He threw Sora's body against the iron gates, creating enough noise to alert the monks. He gave the corpse a blank stare. "I said I'd return you. I never said you'd come back alive." With that, he merged with the shadows once more and disappeared. Scene break. "I'm so sorry for your deaths, or not." Fuka gazed at the bloodied corpses of her companions, then at the boy responsible. Moments ago, they had been peacefully eating dinner. Now Furito, Fuin, and Fudo lay dead in their own blood. She glared at the young man before her, who seemed oddly familiar. He had dark orange hair reaching his shoulders, wore old-fashioned gray armor, and held a bloody scythe. His most notable feature was the whisker-like marks on his face. She inhaled deeply, then forced a sweet smile. "They were strong, weren't they? For you to take them down so easily, you must be very powerful. Maybe I can reward you with a kiss." "If you were younger, I might have considered it," the boy replied coolly. Fuka smirked. "Oh, so you prefer girls your age? I can give you that, you know. I'm quite developed." "I commend your efforts, but you're old enough to be my grandmother," Naruto replied, indifferent. Fuka's flirtatious grin vanished, replaced by a cold expression. "I know who you really are. I also know why you joined these dead fools." "Then why did you kill them? How am I supposed to take revenge on Konoha now?" she screamed. Naruto remained calm, offering a smile that didn't reach his eyes. "My name is Naruto. I am the heir of the Uzumaki clan. I, too, seek the destruction of Konoha and the revenge of my clan. But my plans are much grander than yours. I'll destroy not only Konoha but the other major villages as well. I want you, Fuka Uzumaki, to help me carry out that plan."